Hi.
Hi! Welcome back to Splice Splatter, the film podcast presented by us, where classic horror
Meets modern gore.
We're your hosts. I'm Siena.
And I'm Al.
And for some reason, the only thing that came to my mind to say to kick this off was, and this is us.
And this
which
is, oh my god, stop
us.
it. It is
Which
us.
isn't, it is
Get
us.
out of here,
Which-
Sienna. Get
God
out of
damn
here with
it.
that.
There we go. I
Can
knew
you guys
we'd get
guess
there
what we're
eventually.
covering? That's actually genius.
I honestly can't believe that it's been like 2.5 years of this podcast and we've saved these two giants of modern horror history. But I'm so glad we did, and I'm so glad
I
we put them
know.
together.
Me too. They like have to, I don't know, I feel like Nope kind of being on its own felt correct when we talked about it, but these two really
They are very much of a piece.
Yeah.
One could almost say that one is tethered to the other, perhaps.
Truly, as we are.
Literally.
I'm super happy. I also just want to note, I hope we all, because we were big bullies about Sinners last episode. I hope we all screamed collectively together. I don't know who watched it. I watched it. Did you watch it? Not to like pull us back into to a couple weeks ago, but I feel like I want to talk about it with you for a second.
Because like we absolutely need to, and especially like we've been building up to this for so long, and I think it very much plays into talking about these two films. Because Sinners feels, even though it's not, like it is like related to the Monkeypaw universe, right? I was super lucky and got to watch it at friend of the pod Todd Vaziri's house, which was amazing.
We talk about him.
He did, and he did like an Oscar ballot, and there was
So
like
fun.
a little pot of money, and
Oh my gosh, I love that.
we all competed against each other. Todd won. I got second place.
Amazing.
Well, not second. Out of the people who we know on the podcast,
Sure.
Mark Garrett got a little bit better than I did, and then I got third place. Dana did terribly.
Dana's just thrown in those rogues. I take the ballots very seriously when I do them.
Me too.
Like,
I get
seriously.
really hyper competitive about it, and it's embarrassing. And Todd also had like a losers pot for people who got the worst, and Dana was like second away from the losers pot. Todd comes by, looks at her ballot at the end, and just goes, "Dana, what happened?"
Oh my gosh. I would have been, I was like, if it wasn't, I wasn't rooting for Sinners, it was Frankenstein was right there. And a couple categories like costuming, I really felt like Frankenstein deserved.
They absolutely, and won too. Like, I was especially seeing like Kate Hawley, who also did, I think I'm remembering her name right, who was also the costume designer on Crimson Peak. Like getting to see her get her roses after covering it was so satisfying. Like,
I follow her Instagram, and so if anyone's actually does not follow her Instagram, the behind the scenes of the materials, specifically I started following her because of Frankenstein, is so cool. And so I was just like super fangirl when she won that one. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta check that out. That's so good.
Super cool. But
also, like, gotta celebrate Autumn, the DP of Sinners, winning.
Oh yeah.
Not only first woman of color, first woman period in 98 years of Oscar history to ever win the Oscar for Best Cinematographer. And my God, did she deserve it?
I mean, her work is, and for how like young she is too, and I don't even know how young she is, but I'm just like looking at her, it's just like it's her eye and the pairing of her and Kugler together, and just like he's so young too, and just
they're all so young.
It's kind of like weird because I'm like, oh my god, we're like the generation that's making stuff
so
now and
wild,
being seen, and it's like and we're making good original things, and it's really cool to see. So I got weepy a few times.
I did too. That one I full out cried at. Michael B. Jordan I cried at.
Oh yeah. Collectively, I think the earth cried over that. Those two.
Seeing the guitar braided into Kugler's hair, I cried at.
Yeah, his music note and then the guitar.
Oh,
was
so cool. Misty Copeland coming out, incredible. I feel like they mixed the live version of that song poorly because you could not hear the percussion as much as I wanted to, but the performance itself was incredible.
So good. Yeah, a lot of horror. Big year for horror.
big year for horror. Oh my god, and also Weapons too. That was
I know.
so
I was
exciting. And I still
kind
haven't
of
seen
shocked.
Weapons.
Her
I
performance is some people have like mixed reviews about it. I thought it was so the way they shot it, specifically with camera movements and like
ooh,
matching of movements was so good, and her performance is like
love.
it's just it's so original and weird, and like that's why
Mhm.
it was, even if people didn't see it, they knew her character. But
Absolutely.
I was shocked by that pleasantly.
It felt like a little bit of a turning of the tide in some ways in terms of
Mm-hmm.
the kind of performances, particularly that got awarded this year.
Yeah.
I'm big mad that Coogler didn't win Best Director. I think
Oh, 100%.
anytime you see a film win in so many other categories and not in that one, and the director in question happens to be a member of a marginalized community, I raise my eyebrows.
Mhm, mhm.
Um,
Oh, yeah. A lot of raised
I
eyebrows
a lot of
for,
lot of raised
yeah.
eyebrows. I still haven't seen One Battle After Another, which uh, I'm I
I don't
have
know if I
mixed
am.
feelings on going to see it.
Yeah. I don't know if
Um,
that's one I'm gonna partake. Not to
that one might
sorry,
not be
guys.
for
Hope you
me,
guys
and that's okay.
yeah.
Um, but like, I kind of suspected that that was gonna win Best Picture, but I felt
Yeah.
like Sinners was so close that it
Mhm.
would have been really spectacular if it had, and I'm still mad about it. But also,
Me
we
too.
did get so many wins that
Yeah.
like I do
Yeah.
think we need to
Original
celebrate a little
screenplay.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
Hmm.
it was cool, and actually, considering how like the Golden Globes went, I was super happy to see. And I would say
Yeah.
also everyone put a pin in this because at the end of mine, I will talk about awards for Get Out, and it kind of pertains to exactly what we're talking about.
I
But yeah,
actually also have a section related to awards for Get Out and
oh,
Sinners. So this is
oh,
perfect.
nice,
I think
yeah,
unsurprisingly, our sections are going to be very
hmm
intertwined.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I
yeah.
I feel like I don't know, do we want to like start diving in a little bit?
Yeah,
I
let's
guess at
dive
this point.
in.
Yeah, I feel like
I
they're going
don't,
to be super. I mean, they're both Jordan Peele. They were run
yeah.
one right after another. They're very much
Hmm.
in conversation with
Oh,
each other.
yes.
Also, Get Out is like so talked about at this point. So I'm kind of focusing on some key things versus doing like a
Hmm.
really, really big overview of stuff. So I kind of picked out
Hmm.
some nerdy pinpointed stuff. I feel like
Love.
there's a lot of with the kind of themes and things to look out, like the Easter eggs. We've kind of
Yes.
talked about that, and a lot of people know those, but I found some of the big moments. I'm going to talk about each of those big moments and kind of how
Ah,
we got them. So
oh,
that's
I
what I'm
love that.
doing to kind of leave room for
Amazing.
us, because us isn't, I don't feel it talked about in the same
Not
way, so
nearly
I want to leave
enough.
room for you for that. So that's
Yeah.
what
And also
my
there's also so many like shared crew members, shared creative crew between the two.
yeah.
And so I wasn't sure how much of that you were going to cover, so I brought in a ton on all of them. So this
Oh,
is
great. I didn't
perfect.
bring in a lot. So
Fantastic.
we always seem to like, I love how we never text each other about this. We just like assume, and we always assume right thus
Yep.
far.
Again, we're tethered. What can we
Yeah.
say? I can't
I'm the
stop thinking
one.
about that person who commented on one of our YouTube videos saying that when he closed his eyes, he couldn't tell our voices apart. And I'm like,
I know we sometimes
listen,
get that, and I feel like we sound
yeah,
wildly different from one another.
I
But
I think we sounded more different from one another when the podcast started, and we've got progressively closer over
yeah, the cadence
time.
kind of. Can you guys tell
Hmm.
who am I? Who am I? The one that stutters. That's how everyone knows
Well,
who's on this end of the
increasingly,
mic.
I've been stuttering more. Again,
I'm so sorry.
you do one thing, I do it in the underworld. I don't
Give
know.
give me Siena, please. Let me channel Siena when I do my notes, guys.
Oh
Everybody.
my god. Do you have a
Um,
tidbit to start us off with?
I don't.
Oh my god, I was so hoping this would be the case because I have one that's about both of our
Oh,
films.
sick. Okay, I realized I didn't put one. I was like, Siena's got this.
I do. This is
Bless you.
perfect. Well, and like again
Hit me.
because Us is so close in time to Get Out and it's his sophomore feature, it's
Mhm.
very much like every single interview from anybody that you read about Us, they're talking about it in relation to Get Out, so like it's
Oh
impossible
yeah,
to
I'm
avoid.
sure. Yeah.
Um so at this point, I'm going to have you actually pull up your video
Oh,
clip and so what I'm going to show you is, did you know where Jordan Peele's cameo in your film is?
I didn't, and
Oh my
I
God, I'm
tried
so
to figure
glad.
out, and I was like, wait, how do I not know where his cameo is in this?
The reason why is because it's not on screen and because he did not talk about it until he was on the tour for us. So I was hoping you wouldn't have encountered it in your
Yeah,
research.
no.
So he has related like twinned cameos in these two movies. And so in
Amazing.
yours, he is the one who does the voice of the dying deer.
Mhm,
And in
mhm.
mine, he's the one who does the voice of the dying rabbit. And in fact,
Ugh.
there is a video clip of him doing this, which I'm now
Oh
going to
my
have you
gosh.
play.
I was the voice of the deer.
And in us?
I am a dying rabbit.
Oh my God. Okay, we definitely have to put. I hope you all are laughing along with us. However, we edited
Oh,
that.
I'll put
Sorry.
that in. Don't worry. I know exactly what we're doing.
I
have a
love
plan.
how he in that clip. So I couldn't find, or I should say, I didn't look up parts of him doing it because I'm like, I got a director cameo. He's the dying deer.
Mhm.
To see him just straight faced in that interview do
It's
the
so
noises of the two of them is why I love him so much.
And the faces that go along with it too, his like deer expression that like
Just the
kills me. And I just like right
I
before
love
we got
him.
on, I was like playing that back in the movie because now that I
Oh my
knew this,
God.
I had to go
Yeah.
back and listen to it.
Yeah.
And it like once you know, you can't
You can hear
unhear.
it. Yeah. Oh my God, I have to now do it with the rabbit because I feel like I knew the deer a while ago. I like was reminded that it was him in that moment. I had no idea he was also the rabbit. And also what
That's
fun
so good.
weirdo director cameos.
Yeah. Nobody else would ever.
No.
You
no.
can really see like
We
the
might.
Key and Peele coming out there. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like acting.
I do have a
Love him.
Screamio in mine, a Scream cameo.
See,
if you
look at you
will.
have
Yeah.
one then.
It's true.
That's the best way to do it if you're
Oh
camera
my
shy.
God. Exactly.
Just be a dying animal or
Yes,
scream.
be a dying deer.
That's amazing. That's such
Oh
a
my
fun way
God.
to kick us off.
I'm
In
so glad.
talking, I have to like keep myself from this just being like a Jordan Peele gush fest for me.
It should be. He's, I think, one of the
ah,
best living directors currently working in Hollywood. That's a
Thank you.
redundant statement, but
Took
yeah.
took the words right out of my mouth. That's what I'm like. I feel so privileged to be alive
In
and specifically a
the
horror
year of our
fan.
Lord Jordan
And
Peele.
yeah, it's just like he's such a genius in a way that
He is.
it feels like it comes so naturally to him that he just is
Yeah.
this creator, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, I have like 10 pages of notes. I feel like I had to really rein it back. I really want to talk about Us because again, Get Out gets talked about a lot. I wanted to leave room for you to talk about Us and we can gush a little bit more throughout this.
Yes.
So
An us gush, if you will.
yeah, a gush.
No, there it is.
We'll lead us off. So that was a wonderful tidbit. I love that we started on that.
Yay.
I'm gonna just jump in. So we have Get Out. Obviously, it was 2017. I saw this in theaters at a pre-screening. I was part of like a rewards thing where I got to see. You just got like selected to see random films. You didn't really know what it was.
That's so cool.
I remember hearing about it, and like having that be one of the movies. Like it was just like a weekend before. But I was just like seeing it with an audience for the first time. It was just peak perfect. I was gasping, I was gusping, I was screaming. Yeah.
It was.
When did you see it?
I also, this was my third time round with it. My first time was
Nice.
also when it was in theaters.
Mhm.
It was on a date with some guy
Oh,
who I
funny.
never saw again.
Yeah.
But loved the movie. And like I could tell that it was one of those where he was like, I'm gonna take this femme presenting person on a date to a horror movie because then they'll get scared and they'll be all cuddly. And I was just
Oh
like,
my God. You're like, don't
like
breathe so
zoned
loudly.
into the
I'm
movie,
locked
just
in.
like yeah, exactly, like avoiding. Yeah, it was great. Second time was for a class that same semester, which was like, or maybe the semester after that, but like that same year, 2017, which was like a really amazing teacher that she like incorporated it into her curriculum that quickly. That was for a class
Yeah,
on
that's really cool.
German and English horror literature and movies, and so she had us watch Get Out in relationship to that, which was so
Really
cool.
cool.
And then I was telling you before we got online, big news in my life. I got this dream job that I've been desperately working to try and get over the past like 3 months. I am chairing the film department at my old charter arts high school, which is brand new. I'm like getting to like create the curriculum, which is
So cool.
right up my alley, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And part of this was getting to create like a list of films that the first year students are going to be watching. And one of the first ones that I put on the list for October is I'm going to have them watch Get Out, because we've got to start the youths off properly.
I'm so excited for them. And
yes,
to talk.
Honestly,
talk
yes.
them.
Like you're teeing me right up for next semester here, Al. So this is great. I'm going to be taking notes over here.
I'll just send you mine. Just if there's anything of use for you there.
Love. I will be using them.
Please do. Yeah, I'm excited for that. It's I call this a perfect movie. On all aspects, from production to acting and casting, and it's just perfect. And it's perfect every time. I've watched it already 3 times this week.
Oh my god,
it's just one of my most watching again movies of all time.
After the recording tonight.
Yeah. It's just, it is, and then we'll talk about it too. It's meant to be rewatched. That was the whole point for Jordan Peele in making this. So it's always too, I would say, if you've already watched all the Easter eggs, my favorite way to watch it is watch it and watch one specific character and really pay attention to them the whole time.
Love.
So watch it like through them is like a fun way to watch, because you kind of just pick up on little micro movements that are just like interesting character choices and actor choices. And I always kind of love seeing how actors move, and I don't know. So that's a way that I like to watch it.
Love.
Sometimes too. So jumping in, we do have taglines. Are we surprised? They're great and they're simple, and we have 2. Yeah. So the first one is, just because you're invited doesn't mean you're welcome. Everybody learned something from this man.
Good. Yep.
And then we have, do you belong in this neighborhood?
Oh man. Oh, those
really
are
make
both
you
so
think.
good.
Yeah. And we're not surprised.
Of
We're
course.
not surprised.
One of the notes that I took from my taglines was like, I feel like Jordan Peele writes his own taglines, because they are
he has to.
from his brain, and work on so many different punny levels to not be his own creations.
They have to be, and that's why they're good.
Yeah, agreed.
Obviously, he directed it. We have our cinematographer, who we will talk about later, but I want to shout out kind of his credit. So we have Toby Oliver. Do we share him?
No, we don't. This is one of the very few ones that we don't share, actually.
Okay, because I tried to look down and like be like, if I see us, I couldn't remember, but I didn't put it just in case. Yeah, so we have Toby Oliver. He did Megan 2.0. He did, which I love, and they're great.
That's incredible. I still haven't seen them, but I love that you call it Megan.
They're great. Megan, which also shares Allison Williams.
True.
And he also shot Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You, which I watched in a hotel one day. Amazing. Love. Would also like to talk. Maybe those will be my birthday picks. I don't know.
There you go.
He did Wolf Creek 2 and Insidious: The Last Key. So he's kind of like a horror guy with cinematography. Love. He has other credits too, but I always like to shout out ones that are fun to go watch and see if you can see. Yeah, like a stylistic.
The same eye.
Yeah. So jumping into starring, we have Daniel Kaluuya and Allison Williams. They were actually cast first. They were cast in November of 2015, while the other roles were cast in December and February. So they were a little bit later. Jordan Peele kind of knew what he wanted for these two leads. Yeah. Which is Daniel Kaluuya. I am so in love with this man. I realized the reason why I haven't watched Us as much, I think it's because Daniel Kaluuya is not in it. Because Nope has started to surpass Us for me. And I think he is the reason. And I just realized it.
That's so funny.
I love him. So we obviously talked about him on our Nope episode. 2 of our actors actually share roles in the Marvel universe. So we have Daniel Kaluuya is also in Black Panther. He did not go on to film Wakanda Forever because he was filming Nope, and he had a smaller role anyways, but it makes sense. Also, Wakanda Forever is amazing. I just watched it the other day. So
I've not
scheduling
seen.
conflict. He was not in that because of it. He also is in my most watched Black Mirror episode, which is from 2011. It's 15 Million Merits. It's my comfort episode.
Love.
There's not a ton of dialogue in it. He really is like eye acting to the max if you really want to see him eye acting. And it's also one of the reasons Jordan Peele cast him as Chris in this,
I
is
love
because
that.
he was a big fan of 15 Million Merits. So he saw that and was like, I'm going to use this guy in a project one of these days. Because
That
again, this was
makes
2011.
perfect sense. Yeah.
So I love that we share a love for him in that. If you have not watched that, it's a really nice, it's a really good Black Mirror episode to watch, especially if you're not necessarily a fan of Black Mirror. It's just an amazing, like, cinematic, heartbreaking episode of television.
Oh, I gotta go check that out.
And yes, please, please, please. I will bully everyone to watch it. He's brilliant in it. And you'll really see why he was so good in Get Out. And Jordan Peele actually said that Black Mirror episode was a undeniable audition for Get Out, and kind of proved that he was a tour de force to Jordan Peele. So he was like, he did make him audition. I do have a quote from Jordan Peele talking about this. He said, quote, I knew that as a performer, he's talking to Daniel Kaluuya in this interview that I found. So he said, I knew that as a performer, you embodied the spectrum of somebody who could play small and subtle, someone we would root for, but also had an explosive side and an ability to access certain deranged elements in your psychology.
Love.
I already knew I wanted you for the film, but you blew me away in the audition, and now we're here.
Oh.
Yeah. Which I'm like,
I love the love with which he speaks about his actors is so sweet.
I mean, yeah. And I feel like every interview with Daniel Kaluuya too, I'm just like, I love him. I always forget he's British, as we talked about on Nope. He has such a good, like, middle of America
good at doing an American accent. Yeah.
It's wild. I never catch it, and I always forget.
Like, even Lupita, who's a phenomenal actress,
Yeah.
I still hear it a couple of points in Us.
Yeah.
There's like a couple moments where I remember.
It just
Daniel
like
Kaluuya,
hitches.
it never crosses my brain.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I always forget.
Not a once. Yeah.
So I kind of, you're talking about like the love that Jordan Peele has for his actors. Jordan Peele goes to talk about kind of like casting Get Out and saying how he kind of realizes, well, trying to cast a Black lead for the film, that there's a whole lot of Black actors who are not getting given the ability to be a lead in a film. So I have a quote from him talking about this as well. So as he's going through this casting process, he's trying to look for people, and he's like, wow, look at where I'm having to dig to find people versus, white leads fucking everywhere. So he says, quote, I was just so thrilled to realize that the rest of the world considers a very small pool. I had at least one of the best actors I'd ever seen in a movie. And from the very beginning, I was like, this is how, when you have a script that's good and you get actors like this who've done the work and have this untapped potential and an untapped trust to put into them, you get something really special. So he kind of takes that con and sees as something where he can make a star out of these actors
and
with
he
his
has.
star power. And he absolutely has. And to go with that too, there's an IndieWire magazine interview with both Daniel and Jordan Peele where Daniel Kaluuya actually admits that at the time of getting cast in Get Out, he almost gave up on acting altogether. Because he wasn't getting the roles.
Oh my god.
Because of racism. He said he was really disillusioned with acting. They were on a Skype call to talk about the role, and he was like, even at that moment on the Skype call, he had stopped acting for 1.5 years and really didn't see a future in it, and he was going to turn away from it. He said he was checked out of acting. He felt like it wasn't working for him. He wasn't getting roles, again, due to racism. And so he said Jordan Peele kind of reaching out to him was finally the moment where he was like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like, I'm going to be all right. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. So thank you, Jordan Peele, again, for giving us this man and keeping him. Because, again, that Black Mirror episode, I just love that that's where this stemmed from, because it's just always who I see when I see him on screen. And I can't imagine if we didn't have him, because, oh my gosh.
Yeah. He, Jordan Peele gave us such a gift with this performance.
Again, I can't gush too much. So moving on,
I encourage it. More gush.
We're gonna turn the opposite way. Although phenomenal actress, she bugs the hell out of me in the best way possible.
Same.
We have Allison Williams as Rose.
Yes, which is such perfect casting. It's
oh my god,
brilliant. Because God, don't you just love to hate her?
Oh my god, I mean, even so everyone kind of knows her as Marnie from Girls, so HBO Girls. She's amazing, but she's just she just feels like Marnie.
Yes.
Always to me. She's also in Mithrigan 2.0. She's Kit in the series of Unfortunate Events TV series, which I know you have watched. I don't know what her character is like.
Oh, I have watched it so many times.
Is she also
That's like
this
one of my
kind of
comfort shows? That's the thing that I found her the least annoying in, but she's still pretty annoying.
Yeah, so she's perfectly cast, and so I would say, like, one would assume for this role specifically, like, you would think she was cast off of Girls and her performance in Girls, but it was actually after Jordan Peele saw her in a very Marnie-coded NBC's Peter Pan Live, where she played Peter Pan. The poster kills me, Siena.
Oh my god.
I hope if you all don't know what the poster looks like for the NBC Live Peter Pan, Marnie as Peter Pan, please stop whatever you're doing, pull over to the side of the road
right now.
Like, go to the bathroom if you're at work. Just go look this up. Yeah, sorry, I didn't have visuals for you. It's the most Marnie coded thing ever. And so he actually saw that.
My god.
It looks atrocious. Yeah. Christopher Walken was Captain Hook in that show, Trav, just let us know. What the hell was going on with that? Well, we have her and Christopher Walken, I guess. So Jordan Peele had seen that, noticed her innocence in the role of Peter Pan, and decided that the film needed somebody that the audience could trust and initially be on her side. So one would think Girls, no, Peter Pan.
Jesus Christ. I need to, like, pick my jaw up off the floor.
I know. Isn't that the goofiest?
Wild.
That's a goofy-ass poster.
Yeah, I can't believe that this is a real
clips of it later.
It looks like a 30 Rock bit. Like,
it doesn't look real. It looks like a bit. It looks like a bit. It looks like a Key and Peele bit. Really.
It does. I'm not convinced it isn't a Key and Peele bit.
That's
an elaborate
partly why he likes
prank.
it.
Yeah, honestly.
Right? Yeah, so it's very, like, I guess, like, the humor in that in itself, it makes perfect sense. So
that's incredible.
And she hasn't, like, done a ton, but she kind of does. I mean, she has the ability to make you feel some sort of way about her. So, like, kudos to her, man.
And I like that she leans into it. Like, I have respect for that. I feel like she understands the way she's seen, and she's like, cool, let's go with this.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I didn't write it down, and then it's me paraphrasing very heavily, but I think Jordan Peele talks about, too, that they both were, like, when she was on set having to play a character like this, I think they had to give her, like, a nickname on set to kind of, like, they called her Roro. They had to call her Roro instead of Rose to kind of, like, distance herself from this awful character that she plays. So I forget what article that's from, but they kind of talk about it. So moving on from Allison Williams, we have Bradley Whitford. We've talked about him before. He plays Dean Armitage, the dad. We talked about him in Cabin in the Woods. He's an amazing character actor. He's been in so many things. I don't even know what to, like, credit. I had a hard time, like, picking things from his IMDb.
Paring it down.
Yeah. So he has a huge long-running role on The West Wing, which I never knew. I never watched it.
I haven't yet, but I want to.
Billy Madison, yes. He's in The Handmaid's Tale, which I can't watch because we're living in it. Agreed. He's in Transparent, Happy-ish. He's also in Saving Mr. Banks, Godzilla King of Monsters, and a billion things. Wow. There's, like, a little funny story, again, just kind of like a side story. He talked about after this film came out, he walked into a barber and there was a lot of, like, black guys getting their hair done, and they just all screamed when they saw him, and he just, like, laughed, and he thought he was like, well, I did my job.
That's amazing. That's so good.
And I can only hear him telling that story.
Oh my god, yeah. His delivery of I would have voted for Obama 3 times if I could have, a third time if I could have, like, he made meme history. That's him. That's his doing.
That line is so good, especially just the fact that she says it and then he goes on to say it.
And then he says it, and he says it with such earnesty too.
Oh, it's and that's, like, I don't really have like a section to talk about it. I have like a rant corner for later, but that's like the point of this film too, is it's not this inherently racist, like these white people are racist, they're in the South and they're so liberal, right? I'm putting in air quotes, that they go past that and loop back around.
Did a full 360, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like that's what's so genius about this too, is it's such a different as like a white person, like it's a different like check yourself, like don't go full circle and back
don't
around.
do a 360.
Yeah.
Don't vote for Obama a third time if you could.
I'm sorry, that I would.
I mean,
absolutely. Sorry.
Living in this world,
third, fourth,
like,
fifth, sixth. The man got gray hair so fast with us, though.
Honestly,
he needs a break.
yeah. Honestly, if he'd had a third term, we might have genuinely killed him.
We can't do that. We can't do that to him. Speaking of white men, we also have the whitest of men. We have Caleb Landry Jones as Jeremy, the brother.
I'm obsessed with him.
This man is hot. He's hot in this role. He's an awful person, but he's still hot.
Oh yeah, he's hot. Absolutely. I think that's part of the character too. Like I think it's
I hate
part of the genius of the casting. Like like
just
how,
mute the
like
movie.
who the character is, but why you cast Caleb Landry Jones. Like he's really like seductive on screen.
Again, I have to not. I have been such a fan of his since 3 Billboards. So I fell in love with him in 3 Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. He's also Banshee in X-Men First Class. He's I didn't realize he's Steve in 2017's Twin Peaks revival show.
He sure is, and he's terrifying.
Okay. Don't tell me anymore. I am like, well,
you're gonna
need to watch that.
He's terrifying and hot. It's a very like Jeremy Armitage performance.
This man always is terrifying
his name,
and
right?
hot. He's Jeremy. Yep, Armitage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
Yep. I don't know why I said yep in between those two things. He's also in Dogman, which I've not yet watched, but I did watch Luc Besson's Dracula.
I haven't seen it yet, but I was
been.
like, don't tell me that.
This man is yearning in a way.
We love
it's just so good.
Yearning, vaguely feminine boy.
Oh yeah, and bloody, and it's amazing. Yeah. I've also watched it. I'm in the middle of reading it. And yeah, his performance, I just love like what a shapeshifter he is. He always has like a weird, I don't know. He just shapeshifts. He's also, if people, it's always like fun to spot watching No Country for Old Men. He's like 10 years old or something like that, or like 12 years old. And he's one of the kids on the bike at the end.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah.
He almost doesn't look like himself. Yeah. And it's always a fun, that's like his first acting credit is him in that.
That's so cute.
It's very cute. I will shut up about my love of this man, but everyone go watch Dracula. It's great. And speaking of No Country, we have actor Stephen Root as Jim Hudson. So he is the blind art dealer that we see. I know him most from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, where he's also creepy. He's also an amazing character actor and voice actor. He was in 268 episodes of King of the Hill as Bill. I never watched that show. And his other characters.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't know he was such a voice actor. He's got his IMDb, boy oh boy, is long. Wow. He's in Office Space, Dodgeball, Bicentennial Man, The Show Barry, and Boardwalk Empire. So,
oh my gosh, I forgot he's in Barry. Have you seen Barry?
I have not. I heard great things though.
So good. It's
TV's hard for me to get into.
I relate to that, but Barry's like it's just so funny. Like in the midst of all of the like horror and trauma and stuff that goes on in Barry, it's just really, really funny.
Funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah, which I think you would enjoy.
Ooh, and I love him, so I feel like that could be a fun one.
Absolutely, highly recommend.
Note. We also have. This cast is so hot. I'm just realizing I'm about to just gush because we have Lakeith Stanfield as Andre Hayworth, Seth Logan King.
I'd forgotten he was our cold open too.
Oh my god, with the Run Rabbit Run. And he forever changed the way I say suburb. I can't say suburb any other way since this movie, and it always itches something in me.
And it's such a genius delivery because it's like that's just the word suburb on the page. He elevated that.
Absolutely. And it's just, again, it's forever changed the way that I say that word now. He is so good in this. His switch that he has when the camera goes off. I mean, he's amazing. And I feel like still he's not, like he gets his due, but I feel like he just needs to be bigger.
I
celebrity
agree.
with his
I want to
acting
see
chops.
more with him. Yeah.
Yes. And if you haven't watched him in other things, he's in Sorry to Bother You, Knives Out, The Changeling, Selma, and the TV series Atlanta. So you can watch him in those as well.
He's phenomenal. Have you seen Sorry to Bother You?
No, I meant to see it when it first came out.
So
and
good.
I just don't.
So
I hate
good.
this about myself. I'm getting good at watching newer things. I'm getting better at watching newer things lately. It's a
I'm
skill
getting
that I have
worse
to
at
practice
it,
as an
so
as an autistic. It's very hard for me. That's why I've watched Get Out probably 200 freaking times, honestly. Is yeah. So I have to go through and watch some more of his stuff. We have
I
Catherine
would definitely
Keener.
start with Sorry to Bother You. I
Okay.
think you'd really like it. Yeah.
That's the one I'd probably start with too, because I just
do it.
again when it came out, I
it, I
wanted
dare
to see
you.
it so bad. Bet. We have Catherine Keener as... You guys, listen, I had like a scoop of ice cream, a beer, and now I'm
Good.
having coffee. So like
I
my
love
tummy is about to
that.
be ruined.
That's the best way to come into a discussion about Get Out.
It's Friday and it's 8:30. And it's gonna be later.
To you, Al.
Thank you. Thanks. So Catherine Keener as the mom, Missy. I didn't even realize she had a name, if I'm honest. She is in, again, these character actors. I love that Jordan Peele is like pulling these people. So being John Malkovich, Capote, Adaptation, Death to Smoochie. She's also in the show that I always bug everyone about, the horror show, Brand New Cherry Flavor. She's a witch in that, and she's bonkers.
Gotta watch.
Bonkers in that.
Must watch.
Halloween. Watch it around Halloween. It's a good little like.
Perfect.
Don't know what to watch? Put it on.
Love.
We have Lil Rel Howery. He is Rod Williams from the motherfucking TSA. He is a stand-up comedian. He was like, when I first saw it, I was like, who is this man? He had the audience.
Incredible.
He just always has me doubled over in laughter watching this every single time. No matter what.
Yeah, the audience reactions in my first watch to him, to every single time he's on screen, it was just like, this man had the audience wrapped around his little finger. It was incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were all just waiting for the scenes where he would pop back up, because he was right the whole time. Sex Slaves. So he is in Free Guy, Good Burger 2, which I still have not watched, Bad Trip,
Same.
Vacation Friends 1 and 2, and an episode of Poker Face most recently. Again, he's a stand-up comedian. He's had some like online, I used to edit some of his online, what do you call it? He was on a show and I did like social for that. I forget what that show even was. So that was Good Story, Al. Really good job.
Love this.
Let's keep it moving.
It's the ice cream and beer and coffee kicking in all at once.
I hate that I admitted that for the world to hear for forever. It's worse enough I let you know, and then I just let the internet know.
Now that you've said that, I have to like pour myself a drink in the break so that I can come in and get progressively more tipsy as I talk about
I'm drinking coffee now. Let me make it clear. The beer was the first thing. The ice cream scoop was
order.
for sugar, and then the coffee is also for the caffeine. Listen, I'm 36. I have to figure out new ways to keep myself stimulated.
We're recording so late on your end. Like, I feel so bad.
I'm getting better with the lates, but sometimes I'm just like, I get sleepy by a certain time.
Yeah.
So the beer, I'll let you guys know how the beer ice cream coffee combo works. I'm not expecting this to go well.
I'm going to check in as it goes on.
If I start to get progressively quieter on Siena's half, we all know why.
No.
Stomachache. We have Marcus Henderson. We're just moving on. Henderson as Walter / Roman Armitage. He's the groundskeeper. He's that run will get me every time. He's in Insidious, The Last Key. He's in Django Unchained, Pete's Dragon live action, which I didn't know they made, and then he's Andre in the TV series Snowfall. So he's got a shorter list of stuff, but done some cool stuff. We have Betty Gabriel as Georgina / Marianne Armitage. So these two are the grandparents. She gives one of the best performances in this. We will talk about that. So put a pin. We'll talk about her scene, her iconic no scene. So she is in a movie I really want to cover called Upgrade. It's from 2018. It has like the not Tom Hardy actor in it. I always
Oh
forget his
my
name.
gosh,
But he's
yeah, what's his
not
name?
Tom
Mhm.
Hardy. They
Mhm.
look the same in
Identical.
that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She is also in The Purge election year.
Oh.
Novocaine, I think I spelled that wrong.
Mhm.
And then she is in an episode of Jordan Peele's 2019 The Twilight Zone revival series as
Mm.
well, which also is amazing. Just want to shout out to Kugler is reviving X-Files, and so it makes me so happy that
Mhm.
Jordan Peele did Twilight Zone. I'm so excited for her. We're
It's
gonna have to cover
it's
those
so
movies
right.
too.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
must. Well, and especially because
Together.
and the Twilight Zone movie had deaths on it, so there's a lot to
Oh
talk
my
about
God,
with that one. Yeah,
yeah, the airplane.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I forgot about
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll have to do
yeah.
those two together. To
Yeah, and
get 'em
do
out.
Twilight Zone first, so that then we have a palate cleanser afterwards.
Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
oof, that's brutal. Every once in a while, I'm scrolling at like 1 a.m. and it's like, here's this
Run
poor
back up
tidbit,
against
and
that fact, and it's so
yep.
horrible,
I'm like, we're
and
good.
yeah,
I
it's never
know
like described in
about it.
a appropriate way. Yeah.
No.
Yep, of course not.
Moving on to script and development. So we obviously know Jordan Peele had his cameo. We all
Mhm.
heard him scream just a minute ago as the deer. So script and development. The
Mhm.
idea of Get Out was actually an idea Jordan Peele had been thinking about even prior to Key and Peele when he did that show. So he'd been thinking about it for a
Wow.
while,
That's a
and a lot
long
of
time.
a long ass time. And obviously, if you, I've only watched like clips from Key and Peele,
Mhm.
but a lot of people kind of see the parallels in humor from that
Oh,
show
yeah.
into this. Obviously,
For
this is a little bit more
sure.
serious, but
But, like, the
he
racist zombies are very, like
that's one that people
yeah.
point out the most. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
So
yes.
we can all see
Honestly, also the one where, the church ladies get possessed by Satan has kinda Get Out energy too.
oh my God, yeah.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
seen that one.
I'm
There's like
obs
I've seen the highlights. I've seen the highlights.
Yes, yeah. That's, like, some of the best comedy of the 2010s, The Church Ladies. It's so good.
Truly. Yeah. So yeah, Jordan Peele was working on the script even before Key and Peele, which is like kind of wild to think about.
Amazing.
He
Wow.
said he doubted himself a lot while doing this, so he'd walk away from the script for like, or like the idea of a script for like 3 months and then come back to it. He claims to have went through more than 40 drafts of the script before even like
Ugh.
got anywhere. So just like for himself. So he
Ugh.
would build this clockwork structure packed with Easter eggs, and then basically like wanted the idea of rewarding people for multiple watches, which is exactly what we
Mhm.
get. And so like the
Mhm.
teacup, wondering why the camera is hanging on the deer, why we get the multiple deer
Mhm.
shots. So he always kind of had that in him. And he felt like as he kind of moved through and then started Key and Peele, he held onto the script because he was like, this is a way to get me away from comedy and kind of doing a little bit
Mm.
more of what he wanted, which I feel like on the outside of that, people didn't really know about him. And I even remember when
Mhm.
not even being like a huge Jordan Peele fan and of his comedy, like it was there and I'd seen clips and
Mhm.
it just was culturally relevant,
It
like
was
that
there,
show.
yeah. And
Um,
it was definitely like the guy from Key and Peele is directing a horror movie.
yes. Yeah. And
Like,
everyone, like even myself, I was like, why is this gonna be good? Like he seems
yeah.
great, but like, is this gonna be good? So there was a lot of
There was a
doubt,
disjunct there.
which
Yeah.
is so wild to think about now.
I know.
But
I know.
his best friend from high school and the Monkeypaw Productions creative director, Ian Cooper,
Also worked on
yes,
mine. Yeah.
yes, yeah. Actually said, "quote We were really into macabre gothic shit. He is such a
Mhm.
gifted improv comedian, and so many people said to me, "Oh my god, so now he's a horror movie director?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what made sense. If you had told me he was going to be a famous comedian, I would have been like, maybe he's hilarious, but this actually is more connected to his creative origin story." And I feel like that so perfectly sums it up because I'm like,
I love
where
that.
was this interview being like this interview should have been
Yeah.
blasted everywhere for us.
We needed that
Um,
context. I mean, we got it
yeah,
from the movie.
we got
The
it.
movie
Yeah,
spoke
we all
for
watched the movie.
itself, but yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of like love that because it's like, yeah, it makes sense. Jordan Peele also talks about being a horror fan for so long, and although he's had done comedy for so long, he of course talks about the similarities between the two, saying so much of it's the pacing, so much of it's the reveals, so much of it is the ability to pinpoint an audience, what an audience is going through at a very moment. So he
Mm.
kind of talks about like if you overlay them, they're pretty similar.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say he's always been wanting to do horror, and that he's kind of like lucky through the comedy. He had some training to get to the point where he was more comfortable doing a bigger project and kind of dipping into something a little bit different, and something that, as we talk about this podcast, is an uphill battle. I think comedy is a very easy, appealing thing to get into, and people are going to see it, but horror is wildly different. I hope this Oscars means it's the tide's changing. I hope. I don't think it is much, but
I mean, I think part of it is also like people are beginning to remember that they need to follow the money, and horror is one of the few things that people continue returning to theaters to see because it is such a visceral experience to watch it in a theater with other people. Yeah.
If you want to talk about a loyal fan base, hi, we're all here. We are all here. Take our money. It's waiting for you.
Horror, I think, is like an identity in a way that other genres aren't to the same degree.
Yeah, and so again, him just being a fan. He also, I have a quote from him too. He kind of talks about the relation to comedy. He says, quote, "Like with comedy, I feel horror and the thriller genre is one of the few ways we can address the real life horrors and social injustices in an entertaining way." As we all know, snaps. We go to the theater to be entertained, but what is left after you watch the movie is a sort of eye-opening perspective and some social issues. On some social issues, then it can become a really powerful piece of art. So again, the reason we all love horror is there's such snippets of what we're going through at the time in a very different way than, just a blockbuster or a comedy. So we all know he's speaking to us and outwardly to people, but we get it. So from that, how does it get involved with Blumhouse? So it all started around 2013 when Jordan Peele was introduced to producer Sean McKittrick, which is the producer of Donnie Darko, and then he's the founding partner of QC Entertainment. And so he was introduced by Keegan-Michael Key of Key and Peele. And so, and it was after Jordan actually pitched the story Get Out during a meeting in New Orleans that Sean committed to producing the film and commissioned Jordan to finally take those 40 drafts, put them together, and actually get a script together. So it took him about 2 months, and he was like, I got this. I'm gonna write this. So he finished the script to Get Out with a little bit of incentive. And it was so Jordan Peele was actually developing the script of Get Out with QC Entertainment for a little over a year before Blumhouse basically caught wind of it. And so they Jordan said they recognized that the script would have some sort of social appeal in the same way The Purge had for them, which I think is like, I haven't seen The Purge, but I haven't. Purge is huge for them, to be fair.
But it's like such a weird comparison in retrospect because Get Out is so much more culturally relevant.
And again, I can't speak too much because I haven't seen The Purge, but basically Blumhouse approached them about making the film, which I love.
Interesting.
I thought that was kind of a cool. I thought he submitted it or knew somebody, but Jason Blum was like, "Bring that over here, please."
Oh my god, I love that. That's so cute.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say those two, Blumhouse or Jason Blum and Sean McKittrick are also producers on this too, on Us as well. So they carry over.
Nice. Yeah, it seems like I can't remember. We covered Nope, but I'm like, damn, I don't remember. I know that was more Universal leaning because that was a bigger production. So I'm not surprised these two being so close. They're similar in a lot more ways than Nope. So inspiration. Where did Jordan Peele kind of bring inspiration from? Two of, I think, some of our favorite films. He took inspiration from Rosemary's Baby and The Stepford Wives for tonality
do it.
of the He said, especially because those movies are developing, we reveal more and more about the sort of awful direction that these films are going, these characters are going. And so he kind of took that from those. I want to cover Stepford Wives desperately on this
so
pod
badly.
at some point. It can always be thrown in there. Yeah, so I was very excited to see that was one of the films he referenced. He also talks about how though Black audiences are obsessed with horror films, they're consistently frustrated with them, rightfully so. Part of the reason, going back to what he says, is the Eddie Murphy routine. So if everyone's unfamiliar, or if it sounds really familiar, I'm going to jog your memory. So in Eddie Murphy's 1983 comedy special Delirious, he kind of talks about how white and Black families react to haunted houses differently. So obviously white families would stick around while Black families would leave. The minute something weird was happening, saying very simple, if there's a ghost in the house, get the fuck out. And I mean, yeah, there's even like sometimes come across like weird random things on TikTok too, and it's just the idea that white people leave their windows open, like curtains, and so people can see in from the house. And I'm like, I want to shut. I don't want people seeing. I want to shut these things immediately. And it's just like the different cultural realities of how one group feels safe and the other does not, and knows to look for these signs. So that's kind of what he talks to. I have a quote from him talking about this as well. He says, there is a heightened awareness that Black Americans have developed in looking out for racism and the real horrors that we have been subjected to for years. But even if you're not Black, it's satisfying to see a movie where somebody at least is aware that it could go into a horror situation. With Rod, you have a guy who satisfies both worlds realistically. He sort of knows what's up, but he's a little over the top with his delivery. I don't think he is at all. That just is like a true friend to me. Like, that's what I want my friend to be saying to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's understandable why our lead would go, okay, all right, thank you. Like, that's not all the help I need. But he really is. He ends up being right from the get-go.
Of course he is.
Yeah. So he also talks about, I mean, a big part of this script, and in every article, I've read so many articles about this while doing research and just obviously in the media. This was in, like we said, a wonderful Obama era, which obviously where we kind of had
not
these,
what
like,
it came out in.
Yeah. And so we all had these kind of, this moment where everything felt like we were in this very like post-racial world. And, we were kind of promised this world that was a lie to us, right? We felt like we were in this nicer time than we were. And so at a Film Independent Forum, they did like a live Q&A with Jordan Peele. This was in 2017. And so he kind of like addressed this, saying, being an African American, I have never seen my perspective in a horror film, and Get Out has my worst fears realized as a Black man in the country, from the evil white girl who's been lying to you. Oh my God, that doesn't make sense. Lacrosse stick. I don't know what that means. Lying to you to the lacrosse stick. I don't know what that means to these things that are foreign to me. Did I just misquote that? Anyways.
Oh, is he saying like he's scared of being hit by a lacrosse stick?
I don't know. Maybe. Who wouldn't be?
Yeah, that just seems pretty universal.
Trav just wrote, lacrosse is very white. Yeah, I know. It's one of the whiter
sports. A very
sports.
White sport, he says,
Sorry, everyone. Yikes. And it was going so well up until this point. Is it the ice cream or the beer? Or the coffee?
We know it's not the coffee.
We can just let's just blame one of those things every time I mess up. I have more
just
of a quote.
Through them.
Let me just it was going so well, see, and I felt so confident up until this moment. Because the brother has a lacrosse stick. Right? Doesn't he have a lacrosse stick at some point?
Oh,
I don't know. Now I feel like I'm making shit up. I'm gonna move on from this.
I think
I'll never recover, but I'm gonna move on.
Maybe he uses a lacrosse stick to hit Lakeith Stanfield at the beginning. I think that might be it. No, he's got the motorcycle helmet. I'm making shit up.
He chokes him out in the beginning.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
We're moving on, but we shall not forget. And referencing the opening scene, Jordan Peele also goes on to say, Black people would recognize that fear. It's part of Black identity. They're things that we're cognizant of because we have to be. For white audiences, they see how it is to be a Black man in a suburban neighborhood at night. And it's like, yeah, there is inherently, I understand them from a white femme perspective of what that feels like to move through the world, but then you have this whole other aspect to it. And yeah, that I can't imagine, but I love that he made sure to give us that immediately. It's such a perfect display about what we're going to walk into. White audiences see this safe neighborhood. Why would it be sketchy? Black people are like, yeah, I can give you a list of reasons why. And one just white people. So it's such a simple way to kind of put that out for audiences and how it can be taken two different ways. But ultimately we arrive in the same place. So we do have we have an original ending that, as we talk about the kind of like lie that we were given in this Obama era. I don't know if you watched it or not.
I don't think I watched it. I feel like we talked about it in class, but please refresh my memory. Because I remember that it was way darker.
Yeah. So again, this kind of idea, let me redeem myself here. So this lie we feel like we were fed or they talk about being fed in this kind of like post-racial world that we thought we were going to get because it felt so lovely with Obama, and then, everything kind of turned. So the original movie ending kind of was like a response to that. So it is we originally see, so we know that Rod shows up in the TSA car. Of course, we all think it's like the police showing up. So in the original ending that they had wrote and shot, it was a police car that showed up. Allison's character dies, Rose dies, the police car shows up at the house. It's followed by a scene of Rod visiting Chris in jail. And they kind of have a conversation, then he walks away, and test audiences did not react well to that at all. And
it's like a very almost Night of the Living Dead kind of ending.
It was
like
just
the white cops being the ultimate killers. Enemy.
And so they do talk about how, like, when Chris walks after he talks to Rod and he kind of walks away being handcuffed in jail still, that it's supposed to kind of represent like he kind of had to like let go and like this is his fate and whatever. And I'm just like, I don't care what it was supposed to be, like that was not the ending. It was just too real at that point. So I have producer Sean kind of talking about this and the original ending, saying it was a response to the Obama era post-racial lie that they were fed. There are some aspects of the story or scenes that evolved because it was starting to reveal how the country was de-evolving. Jordan started the process before Travion Martin. So that was, I think that happened around, did that happen right before or during filming? I should have looked at that. But just for some context of the time frame, I think all of us remember that. I'm not going to... I don't know. Are you here on Earth? You know what happens.
You should.
He said that the test audience was absolutely loving the movie until the original ending. So again, these test screenings, he said, quote, "It was like we punched everybody in the gut. You could feel the air being sucked out of the room. The country was different. We weren't in the Obama era. We were in this new world where racism crept out under the rocks again. It was always an ending that we debated back and forth. So we decided to go back and shoot the pieces where Chris wins." And so I'm so happy that they did. I think it, although me and you love a sad ending,
a downer ending.
Yeah, we love them. But this
I also think, and like so much of this movie is satire at its heart, and satire really only works if you're doing something that's like not literally the thing that's happening in the real world. And if you do the thing that is literally what's happening in the real world, it stops being satire to the same degree. Or it stops being funny. And I think this movie needs to have that core of funny to it.
Yeah, a little bit, which put a pin in that. We will talk about that a little bit later, the comedy aspect of it. I also think too, like Daniel Kaluuya's and Chris's reaction to it of just being like, I get you're trying to be funny. Like he kind of grounds it back. So the balance of even that in itself, where we have the satire, but again, this film isn't inherently a comedy, right? So the balance of that was just, it's so perfect because it's like, so dude, shut the fuck up. Like, get me the fuck out of here. You have no idea what I just went through. Although he does kind of know what he went through because he's been going it the whole time. So yeah, I'm so happy that they listened to their audience. They went back and realized that wasn't going to work for them. I think it would have had a wildly different turnout and
result.
reaction to it.
I think so.
Budget, I'm not gonna make you guess. It's Blumhouse. We all know that they are under 5 million. This was around 4.5 million.
Which is still pretty low budget in some ways
Oh my
for some of the
gosh,
stuff that's
yes.
going on in this.
Yeah,
And for the cast too,
absolutely.
because like Allison Williams at least was pretty big at this point. This was like right
They
after
all
Girls,
had,
right?
they all had some. I mean, even Whitford, like they were
Yeah.
keener, like they were in shit.
People
So
knew
yeah,
them.
they
Yeah.
people knew them. And so with budget, I kind of want to talk about like filming locations. So they shot February 16th, 2016, in just 23 days. So baby, shoot,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, I love.
you're familiar.
Yeah.
Which it makes sense because it's a very confined film.
Yeah,
I also
sure.
feel like Jordan Peele knows exactly what the fuck he wants, what the fuck he's doing, and so he's like, we can get this done. So they shot mostly in Fairhope, Alabama, followed by some scenes at Barton Academy and Ashland Place Historic District for the opening neighborhood scene, and that also was in Alabama. And then the exterior and interior of the Armitage house, so the house of the family, was filmed just south of Fairhope and was a practical house. If you want to, I don't know if you can get into the neighborhood, but 6892 Heathcroft Lane, and they shot 95% of the film there.
Yeah.
So it is a real house they shot in, and we will talk. I think we're going to start talking about that in a little bit. So put a pin in practical locations.
Amazing. God, I'm like, imagine, I know this is terrible of me, but now I'm like, I don't trust anybody who lives in that kind of house. Like, imagine who's there now. Like,
imagine living in there after.
Yeah, and like
like
you'd have to have a sense of humor about it, right?
Right.
Like,
I also am like, if I ever lived in a house that was in something like this, I'm like, you bet your ass I'm giving tours. I'm making money. I'll buy myself a different house, and then that house is now for
people
the
should
fans
get to
of the
enjoy
movie.
it. Yeah,
I feel like we should all get a little piece of that house.
We
too.
need
You know what I
this.
mean?
Yeah.
We deserve to see it too. I haven't looked up if you go to it, but I feel like if shame on anyone who buys up stuff like that or live there, and then I don't know. I just feel like everyone should give us horror fans some love.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm sure like Alabama feels like a kind of random place. It's obviously not meant to be set in the South. It's kind of supposed to be set like kind of anywhere USA. Once again, that this could be going on anywhere. They kind of say like upstate New York, but not Alabama, not the South.
Yeah.
It's just where they ended up filming. And they really didn't want to have the filming location seem Southern because they didn't want to have this like stereotype of like racism within these contexts that we're all kind of used to them, especially in horror. They really wanted this like outwardly liberal social environment, so they try to keep it pretty generic in that way. And they shot mainly in Alabama because they had a good tax incentive.
Oh, interesting.
And so, what's his name? Our cinematographer, Toby, kind of says that a lot of productions were not taking advantage of Alabama's tax incentive. So he's like, we will, because the film was originally supposed to be shot in Los Angeles because Blumhouse typically films in California. But they realize they and part of the reason too is because they can have crew that's already there that's high profile. They don't have to travel, so they can work a little bit lower budget if they stay in California versus Atlanta or going somewhere else. But they figured they couldn't get a tax break in California, so they ended up going to Alabama so they could stay under that 5 million mark. So they were like, we have to get out of here.
We gotta get out of here.
Go film. Get out.
I also feel like it would feel very different if you could tell that the house was in California.
Right?
Because it feels very important to the environment that it's depicting that it seemed like it's the East Coast.
Right?
Like it's that kind of like
that type
Ivy
of
League
person.
Yeah, exactly. Like old money. Like it feels like it's gotta feel old money.
Yeah, it's a different like the affluence of like the East Coast upper state white person versus a California white person does
It's very different.
feel different, and it does make you're absolutely right, more of an impact.
The liberal performativity of the East versus the West.
Yeah.
Coast is very different. Like,
yeah. And I feel like East Coast is like really like a lot of those tiny little states are really fucking white too. Where I feel like California is really diverse. Not everywhere, but one assumes, especially if you're not from California, that it would be a little bit more
a lot of the
Gotta,
East Coast is still really segregated.
yeah,
Like,
ugh,
yeah.
little tiny towns.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I thought that was kind of a interesting reasoning behind it because often we don't really hear
Mm-hmm.
that from them. Like I said, they filmed in a practical house for most of the film, and so obviously that has pros and cons, as we've talked about.
Uh-huh.
Cinematographer Toby talks about this, saying, quote, "When you're in a stately private home, the owners don't want the home damage, and production can't really afford to spend much fix-up money after we leave, so we
Mm-hmm.
couldn't drill into the ceilings, and we ended up
Mm-hmm.
putting up like the idea of putting up ceiling rigs and pipe and lighting
Mm-hmm.
was totally out of the question for them. So I brought in nerdy things that I actually comprehended for you, Sienna. So this
I
is for
love
you.
this.
And Dana, I feel like you should share this with Dana too, with lighting. So how did they solve this issue? They ended up using a Max Menace arm, which is a 14-foot arm that
Oh.
extends out from a post. So if everyone's kind of familiar with like C stands, it's like a bigger
Mm-hmm.
version of that. And
Mm-hmm.
so like Toby was talking about, they couldn't drill in to put up lights, or if you're on a set,
Mm-hmm.
you know how if you've
Mm-hmm.
seen studios and they have the lights up rigged at the top.
Mm-hmm.
This arm essentially allows for that. So the Max Menace allowed for beefier, so they would put up all these lights on the rig. So an example is, let me not jump ahead. So um, that allowed them to kind of hang heavier lights on this so they could have
Mm.
multiple setups in a scene. So I have a quote
Cool.
from him saying, "We had a couple of 300-watt lights, some Deado lights, and a bunch of China balls hanging off them,
Mm.
the arm to kind of light up the whole scene. With that setup, we could shoot pretty much any character at any time and work our
Wow.
way around. So, like the table, the dinner scene,
Mm-hmm.
they had that Max Menace arm set up,
Mm-hmm.
and so all they had to do was move the camera around. The lights were already on there, and they didn't really have to do much, especially shooting in a tight location. So
That's
I thought
really
that was really
helpful.
cool. There's so many, if you guys are interested and nerdy about this, there are so many lighting diagrams that they have. I'll send you some
Oh,
articles.
please. I would
There's
love that.
so many, and like it's really cool how much. That's what I love about Jordan Peele too. Is like, does he have? I feel like he doesn't have as many coffee table books as he should.
I
Because
was
he has
just thinking this.
so much
Yeah.
information. He saves
Ah,
everything.
ah. I was like, if anybody has that, it's gonna be Al. So I've got to ask. There's
Yeah, I just
not a
realized
Jordan Peele book.
I don't have any. So I mean,
God, if you don't
I
have
have
one, I
the
don't think it
script.
exists.
I do have the script.
Mm-hmm.
Like a little book that I bought. But
Amazing.
yeah, I don't have a coffee table book for him. But there's
Wow.
amazing lighting diagrams. Um, Also talking about kind of these close quarters. They shot with an Alexa Mini. So again, it's a
Mm,
little bit
small.
smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Toby Oliver said that he loves shooting on the Alexa Mini. It gives him the same image quality as a regular Alexa, but just smaller package. He said it's
Mm-hmm.
about half the size and half the weight of a regular Alexa, in case you guys didn't know that. I did not. And it has all the accessories, all the things that you can pile onto it. And so he likes it for working. He said those couple of inches here or there are really handy and proved to be really
Mm-hmm.
handy for him to have. He says, quote, "I like to work fast. I like to give the director as many options and get as many setups in a day as possible so that they can go into the editing room with as many options as they can humanly get.
Mm.
And having a small camera that's a little bit lighter and a little bit more compact helps achieve that." So again, Toby sounds awesome. He sounds really kind of fluid and adjustable. And I
Mm-hmm.
think things as simple as like a Menace arm, which I didn't know what that was prior to this. I've seen them, didn't have the
Yeah.
language around them, and it's really cool. There's so many sources and so many places. So Sienna, I will send
Ugh,
them
I
to you
love
personally.
that. Yes,
Just
please.
copy and paste. So kind of talking about the visuals, we have style and like storyboards. So when it came to the
Mm-hmm.
overall look of Get Out, Toby Oliver said that rather than going all out stylized horror, he pitched a naturalistic approach that allowed for them to, quote, ground the main character in a real world at the beginning, and then when things get
Mm.
crazy towards the end, we diverge out of that a little stylistically. So I think that was, again, it is commentary on
Mm-hmm.
a very serious subject that you want people to be afraid of this very real thing. And so it makes sense to kind of keep things I think we see that a lot in horror too, where it kind of sets you up one way and then
Takes
you
a
see
sharp
things
left
shift.
turn.
Yeah.
I
So.
think that like that opening, the shot out through the donut case of Allison Williams looking at the donuts tells you so much about where the story's going in ways that until you've seen it multiple times you don't know. Like it's it
that
feels
image
like it's just,
she freaks the hell out of me in that
I
shot.
know the way she's looking at the donuts, like
it's just like, I feel like she's just like looking for her next victim.
She is, yeah, and picturing eating it.
Yeah, it's I remember it's like the first few times seeing that, I'm like, why is this here? And then it really does, like, you don't even realize how it clicks, and it's just yeah. There's and even just
and it connects to her with the milk later, and like it's
we're gonna talk about the milk. We're getting close, so I'm gonna start
getting to the milk.
Yeah, we're getting to some of the big moments. I'm already at 50 minutes. I swear, guys, I'm trying to this was me like keeping these short.
And y'all keep commenting on our videos and telling us to get longer, so stop saying that unless you actually want
God, really?
it.
Oh my God,
yes.
I haven't seen those. Well, that makes me feel
Somebody
better.
just
we always try to stay
today.
short.
Somebody
God,
just
funny.
commented back today being like,
better.
stop trying to cut yourselves off. I want to hear it even longer. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going so long.
It always like feels short, and then we look and we're like, oh, 3.5 hours. Great.
Yeah, literally.
Imagine if we didn't.
I know.
Try and keep ourselves. We'd be like 5 hours. We'd be sitting here.
Yeah, it would be until our bodies give out. Marathon podcast
till the beer, ice cream, and coffee catches.
Exactly.
Before we get into those main moments, Toby kind of talks about the inspiration. Jordan Peele is obviously very robust in his storyboards, which I think everyone's aware of this at this point. So he obviously talks about how he went back and watched Rosemary's Baby and Stepford Wives before jumping into this. So in pre-pro, he also referenced Candyman. And
that makes sense.
Yeah. And a movie that I was not expecting and never heard of before called, it's from 2013. It's a sci-fi film starring Scarlett Johansson called Under the Skin.
We've got to cover it. I really want to see it.
That is why we get the Sunken Place.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
okay.
hell yes,
Mental
we have to
note
cover
to myself
this.
to add that onto the list.
Yeah,
we absolutely must. Yeah.
Yeah. So Under the Skin is a big reason that's like a reference to the Sunken Place, I should say. So the Sunken Place. Let's talk about it. Obviously, whoa, I don't know if I want to dive in. I'm good.
Dive out.
Yeah, get me out of there. You know what I mean? So the Sunken Place was described by Jordan Peele as a sensation of falling while you drift to sleep. The idea of being trapped as an observer behind one's own eyes. I assume is like very like sleep paralysis. And then your body being controlled by someone else. If you've seen the movie, that's very on point. In an interview, he connected the ideas of abduction and a metaphor for the prison industrial complex, and kind of the representation of no matter how hard you scream, the system is just going to silence us anyways. So obviously I'm not talking a lot about the metaphors and themes in this because I do feel like they're talked about so well by so many other people. So we're going to kind of dive into how did they shoot the scenes of the Sunken Place.
Oh my God, please. It's got to be a VFX shot, right?
No.
What?
It is low-tech practical effects and no CGI. I'm sure like the stars and stuff like that, but it's no CGI.
Oh my God.
I love him. This man loves filmmaking. That's what's so great about him. So
he does love a practical effect for sure.
They didn't even shoot it on a soundstage, Siena. It was one of the buildings they shot, and one of the buildings I listed earlier in town in Alabama. They just put down it was a civic center basically, like one of the rooms. And so for the kind of for Chris floating in the Sunken Place, Daniel Kaluuya was on wires, but they didn't have a huge wire rig. Again.
Oh my God.
So he was kind of just like hanging in one place, just a couple of feet off the ground with like black fabric underneath him. He could lean a little bit forward and a little bit back, but he had limited range of movement. And so he's horizontal, and they just had fans underneath him to blow his clothes to give the sense that he was kind of going through this void. they had the camera just on a dolly pushing towards him and away from him with that, like I said, that black backdrop. And so that's kind of how they cheated it. So it wasn't even on a
cool. I
stage. There was
love
no
that.
CG. Yeah, and they shot it in 200 frames per second, so which is the maximum speed of an Alexa Mini. And they shot it like the technique they used, dry for wet underwater scenes on a dry stage. So that's kind of where we get this like floating, and it's just like they're just like
interesting.
the fact that they didn't even have a big rig. They're just
That's
like threw down a piece of black fabric and just
I love that
made
so much.
it work, and it looks so good.
It does.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
love
God,
that,
that's
and it makes
incredible.
watching it all the more fun. And I love that you thought it was
Oh my God,
VFX, so that makes me so
I'm so
happy. I was
excited
like,
to rewatch
no.
tonight and see. Yeah, you
Yeah.
fooled me, Jordan.
So yeah, that is obviously a big moment. We have another big moment, which is Georgina's iconic scene where she kind of we finally like kind of see that break happening in this really intense scene. So Toby Oliver said that the whole idea of that scene originally in rehearsal was that she would just deliver the lines in the doorway, and she was just set to be kind of like static in that scene, which obviously we know as we watch it, we do not get that. So it was Toby who suggested that she'd creep forward and they'd track back with her because, quote, she was building up her performance towards the end and she gets to this emotional crescendo and then she comes back down again. And to have her walking towards Chris at the same time adds this extra layer of all that. And it ended up working really well. And so it was on set that they decided to do that. And Toby said, well, filming that scene, he was really impressed by her performance. She gave this incredible performance when she literally had a camera about 8 inches from her face. So he said they kind of like made up the shot on the spot in this intense moment. And a lot of times too, he talks about this like difference with how they could have shot these scenes. He said a lot of times he was in the actors' faces, so he was 8 inches away from these actors giving a performance, which he said would have been totally different if the shot was set up different. So I have a quote from him too talking about that, saying being a little bit closer with a wide angle lens on the characters puts the audience in a position where they're almost too close, and so you feel like the audience is positioning themselves inside the character's head. You can shoot quite flattering footage of actors from a distance in a zoom in a long lens, but that gives the audience a really different feeling emotionally and a different kind of connection to that actor and to that performance. And I love that they kind of discovered that a little bit on the set and being like, "Ooh, we have to do this." So they do go back. They don't do a lot of cross coverage shooting. They kind of, I guess, like Jordan really likes to keep things in the moment. And though while they would have safety, they really just would focus on the shot that they were trying to get, which I also think is like the pressure of that because you don't have coverage for it all the time.
He very much seems like somebody who knows exactly what he wants and is not going to settle for option B.
So the pressure, but that's kind of how we get that. And I do think thinking of her being static in that scene,
it would feel
there
so
is
different.
This like as an audience member you want to back up. You're like, don't come any closer to me.
Exactly.
Get away.
Yeah, I don't feel safe. Yeah, which is exactly what he wants.
Yeah. No. I love her.
It's so good. Yeah, it's such an incredible performance.
So good. And then finally we get to the milk. So again, one of the other iconic scenes. I like how we have like everything's kind of beginning, middle, end of like these really big moments that stick in people's minds. So we have Rose on the bed after everything with her headphones. She's eating this cereal, like Fruit Loops, I'm assuming, and drinking milk, which the way she
such
drinks,
an insane way to consume
the gulps.
Those.
Also, the gulps, the one gulp, putting it down, 2 gulp, putting it down, 3 gulp, putting it down, hurts me on a level
so
that doesn't feel,
And I was like, bitch, why isn't the milk in the cereal? What's happening?
So like, a lot of people like to say, audiences, I was like to say, point out that like it's colorful cereal and it's white milk, right? So it's the separation of but Jordan Peele has said a couple of times that wasn't necessarily his intention with that scene. And I kind of love that because I'm like, he's just such a genius that like he's doing things that he's unconscious about. So
That's so interesting.
yeah. And so the reasoning he does give, however, for the creepy milk scene with Allison Williams is that he envisioned Rose as an emotion. They both actually talked about this. They envisioned Rose as an emotionally stunted woman with the mentality of a teenager, hence the music choice as well. And I thought it was interesting because Guillermo del Toro also talks about this with Victor Frankenstein and the immaturity of his character drinking the milk as well. And then there's been this whole discourse of the idea of villains drinking milk is, I know there's also a racial component of that as well, but there's also this idea of villains drinking milk is a reoccurring cinematic trope that we often see as this perversion of innocence. And so I found this article from theconversation.com where a writer kind of puts it perfectly in a way that I was trying to find. So he said in this article, quote, "If milk is a symbol of innocence, then a consumer of milk can't themselves be innocent, or at least can't remain innocent, since their consumption of the substance as a symbol could be also viewed as the destruction of it." And it's that it makes so much sense when you put it out there.
Yeah.
And Jordan Peele talks about this scene as well, saying it was, quote, "one of those moments like a good Key and Peele sketch when you just know you've got it. This is going to work. There's no dialogue in it. It's just this beautiful psychotic image that gives me glee when it happens in the film." He also just talks about how there's something horrific about drinking milk. Think about it. Think what you're doing. Milk is just gross. And
it's disgusting.
No other mammal on this planet drinks another mammal's milk. And it's really fucking weird.
And
it's
the
really
way we
weird.
get it, it's not just milk.
It's really fucking
those cows
weird.
aren't okay.
No.
And I can't stop thinking about it. I can only deal with milk if it is cooked into a dish in a way where you can't taste the milk. I can have mac and cheese. I can't have milk. I can have baked goods that were baked with milk. I can't have milk. Ugh.
Remember the 90s propaganda of milk?
Oh, never worked on me.
What? Why?
Nope.
It did for a bit, but man, it has been 20 years since I had just a glass of milk. But I thought that was, again, people kind of like to put a lot on that scene, and it was really just the idea of she's
so
just
funny.
really immature, and again, she has all her little pictures of her previous victims up on the back up on the wall,
her trophies,
her trophies, which I'm trying to find. I gotta rewatch it. Which is, I'm this is why I love him, because I have to go back. I put it on, but I wasn't paying attention right before we were recording. But I'm what did she have on her wall behind her bed prior to that? Because she has all those.
Man.
And then every scene that they're in the bedroom, they don't show behind the bed. I'm God damn it! What did she have up there? So I have to. If I find out, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
But she's the way she drinks that milk really evokes an emotion in me that just makes me want to murder her. So congratulations, Allison Williams.
Yeah, it's an incredible performance.
Really easy to hate. As we're starting to round the corner, we have one last section kind of before we get to critics and all that. We have to talk about the music. So we have, I think we share. Yes, we share a composer. So we have Michael Abels. He obviously Nope. He did Star Wars: The Acolyte in 2024, and he just did the Burbs TV series starring Keke Palmer, which my old coworker Celeste is actually the showrunner. She's the creator of it.
Oh my gosh, that's
she's amazing. She's a person of color, and she was always writing stuff when we worked together, and to see her name up there, and that's so funny. It's so funny. It's so good. And I binged it, and it's amazing. Everybody go watch it. I want it to get a second season so bad. So please, 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 everybody go.
Let's all do our part.
Streaming. Yeah.
Go support Celeste.
Yes. Yeah. So in an interview with GQ, Jordan Peele kind of talks about that in addition to including Black artists on the film soundtrack, he worked with composer Michael to create a score that was distinctly Black, and that was sonically and lyrically different from African American music that tends to have a glimmer of hope to it, is what he called. So I have a quote from Jordan talking about this, saying, "I was into this idea of distinctly Black voices and Black musical references, so it's got some African influences and some bluesy things going on, but in a scary way, which you never really hear." He said, "I wanted Michael Abels, who did the score, to create something that felt like it lived in this absence of hope, but still had Black roots. And I said to him, you have to avoid voodoo sounds too." And I think it's so funny coming off of our like voodoo and hoodoo episode.
This was such a good back-to-back.
Yeah, I'm super happy. So one of the songs that Michael ended up scoring, and then we get some vocal tracks, is the one in the beginning when they're headed to the house, and then at the end, it's the Sikilisa. I love this song.
So iconic. Yeah.
It gets stuck in my head, and it is a Swahili phrase that actually translates into listen to your ancestors, and the song's lyrics loosely means something bad is coming, run.
Oh my God.
So we're perfectly set up with the music to kind of like know what to expect. And I didn't know that. And it's just also such a beautiful song and has this like I don't know, I don't even know how to describe it. Just the whispering of the lyrics and like the pluckiness of the notes. It's so good. Yeah. And Jordan Peele said that the song is placed in the beginning of the film for a reason. That, quote, the words are issuing a warning to Chris. Obviously, the whole idea of the movie is to get out. And as that's what we're screaming at the character on screen from the get-go. And then just one little musical note. We also have Redbone by Childish Gambino, which is a song literally about a relationship falling apart, which is, of course, a direct reference to Chris and Rose. And that is the song that we see when she's looking at the donuts and enters into the apartment. So again, we're getting all of these songs and everything's screaming at us the entire time, including Rod from the TSA. So, and nobody
from the
listened.
motherfucking TSA.
From the motherfucking TSA. So box office, obviously this goes on to gross an insane amount. Do you want to take a guess, or did you see?
I think I know that it was somewhere in the hundreds, 100 millions, but I can't remember where in there.
255 million.
What?
In fact.
Oh my
Isn't
God.
off a $4.5 million budget.
Holy moly, Mr. Peele.
Isn't that,
My God,
I mean,
that's
your
incredible.
first, and being like, I have like a fun fact. Chance the Rapper loved it so much that he bought out entire showings in different Chicago areas so that people could see it. And he like would tweet, just like pull up, give your ID and enjoy the show.
So cute.
To make sure people could see it. He bought out theaters. And I'm like, that's how much people were seeing this. And like,
it's like Sinners. It's that same kind of like collective reception. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so 255 million.
Damn.
It's got a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb. It has 98 from critics, 86 boo from audiences at Rotten Tomatoes, 4.1 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and this is where we're running the corner with awards. So a little bit of controversy. Universal had submitted Get Out as a comedy to the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. And so the Golden Globe voters actually put Get Out in the Best Musical or Comedy category, not Best Drama, even though the Hollywood Foreign Press, technically, they make the final decision. And so it got a lot of backlash. Like audiences, everyone hated that it got put in that category, including Jordan Peele. And he even tweeted about it, saying this movie is more of a documentary than anything else, and kind of talks about how these categories are so limited for that reason. Lil Rel Howery also tweeted, he said, "But if I can be honest, this is weird to me. There is nothing funny about racism. Was it that unrealistic?" And then LOL. In response to being categorized as a comedy, Jordan Peele said, quote, "The problem is it's not a movie that can really be put into a genre box. Originally, I set out to make a horror movie. I ended up showing it to people and hearing, you know, it doesn't even feel like horror. It's in the thriller world, so it's a social thriller." And then in a different interview with Rolling Stone, he says, "I'm such a horror nut that the genre confusion of Get Out broke my heart a little. I set out to make a horror movie, and it's kind of not a horror movie. As a horror fan, I really wanted to contribute something to that world." Bitch, you did.
Oh my God.
Yeah, damn.
This is so funny. Al, I brought in that exact same Jordan Peele quote.
Oh, because he talks about us in this article.
He does.
And I avoided
this is his lead up to us. Yeah. So put a fucking pin in that. We're going to circle right back to that.
And it makes me so sad. So, however, it ultimately, in like award season, it had 214 nominations, won 154 of those.
God damn.
It for Golden Globes, it took home it was nominated for Best Motion Picture in a musical or fucking comedy. It was also nominated for Best Performance by an actor, Daniel Kaluuya, in a musical or comedy. But
Insane.
in the Academy Awards, so the Oscars that year in 2018, it was nominated for Best Motion Picture of the Year. Did not win. It was nominated for Best Performance Actor Leading Role. Daniel Kaluuya did not win. It was nominated for Best Achievement in Directing. Jordan Peele did not win. However, it did win Best Original Screenplay. And
Good.
because of that, Jordan Peele was the first African American to ever win that award at the Oscars.
Jesus
So
Christ.
he made history that year.
Jesus
Thank
Christ.
fuck. Again, we talk
Oh my
about Sinners.
God.
That's where we
Yeah.
pull right back around where thank fuck, just like Ryan Coogler, at least he fucking
Mhm.
got Best Original Screenplay.
Yeah.
I think, Hollywood's just
Oh my God.
Hollywood.
Hollywood's
And I'll
Hollywood. And
be-
like,
yeah.
my God, the fact that it took until 2017 for that award.
Yeah, not that long
glass
ago.
ceiling to get broken.
Like
And
10 years
this
ago, but-
one just happened this year, 9 years later for
Wild, right.
cinematography. Like
Yep.
we're
Yep.
only going backwards.
I know. I'm just like, come on. But was happy
Yeah.
to see it at least win something, an original
Yeah, that's
screenplay. And I think
huge.
that says a lot as well of how
And-
amazing this.
And it's super rare for a director's first film to ever get nominated for Best Picture. So even just getting that nomination is like pretty huge.
Yeah. So
Should have won, but
I know.
I do think
Listen.
that I'm pretty sure that was the year that Moonlight won, and like Moonlight deserved it. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's
I mean,
that
yeah,
I'm okay
there's-
with. Like,
Yeah. This year, Sinner should have swept everything, but
it absolutely should
whatever.
have. Yeah.
Just because I don't want to see the other movie. But yeah, so that is Get Out. I like. There's so many like other things to talk about that there's just so much good material on this, and God, they
Mhm.
need to have a coffee table book
Oh
of
my
everything.
God.
But there's juicy articles out there. I think I have like 15 sources. There's so many good lighting maps and
Send me
people
those
talking about
lighting
themes.
diagrams.
Yeah,
I'm dying to see.
They're really cool. And it's just always fun to see like how people draw things out too. It's
Mhm.
tangible and
It's
it's it's the good stuff. So I was really, I gotta be honest, I was super nervous about covering this because this movie is just I just think it's there's not often where I feel like a movie works literally on every single level.
Mhm.
Without like a single flaw, and
A
I do
hitch
just feel like
or-
this
yeah.
movie is it's perfect.
It
It's
is.
perfect. And I
And
was so
it's-
nervous to talk
Oh
about it.
man, I like
yeah.
the first time I watched it, I found it terrifying, like in the best sense. The second time I watched it, I found it really funny because, like, I think a lot of the humor jumps out at you
Yeah.
after the initial watch, right?
Yep.
And then this time around, I was like, "What's gonna be the big change this time for me?" And
Yeah.
at first, I was watching it and I was like, "Some of these lines feel just like so on the nose," and then I was like, "You know what it is? It's that this has become." So like this is such a masterpiece and so much like immediately absorbed into the collective like consciousness that it now is impossible to remember what it was like to exist in a pre-Get Out world on some level. And so like those things about it that are what made it revolutionary, like now we take for granted because of Get Out. And like, man, is that not just a testament to how incredible it is?
Yeah. I'm so happy you get to share this with your students now too. That just makes
I was so excited.
It makes my heart warm and fuzzy that
Yeah.
generations are getting to experience this, and I'm like, I'm so envious of you getting to see reactions from them, like those of them who haven't seen it before. Or seen it for the
Yeah,
first time.
getting
I'm like
to like
hoping
watch
there's
people
some...
experience it for the first time.
Yeah.
And
What a
I'm
joy.
playing it. I'm planning for it to be. I can't remember whether it's before or after, but right next to Night of the Living Dead. And I'm like, that's gonna be. There's so much in conversation between those two that like I can't wait to see their reactions. Yeah,
That's gonna be so fun.
Yes. Shall we take a break?
Let's take a
Oh,
break.
sorry. What were you gonna say? I want to hear. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm probably gonna put this on after we're done recording today.
100% same. Yeah.
We'll both be watching together. I'm gonna go get water. I'm gonna add water to my
the mix.
Yeah, and maybe
you get
more coffee,
water.
we'll see.
I'm gonna get myself actually a little bit of Elvira gin.
Oh, I ran out. I'm so
No, let me send you
everyone,
some.
Oh my god, actually, I may make us do
let me send you some.
Yeah, everyone, if you're not aware, As Above So Below, which is a distillery in Santa Fe, they have Elvira gin, and it is amazing. And they do offer it online.
and
purchase
it's
in certain
female
states.
distilled, like businesses female owned.
Witchy.
Witchy as hell. It's like
Yeah.
official collab with Elvira. We love
Yeah.
them.
Just
So
oh yeah, Trav's being good. We do have a YouTube episode.
this is true, where we got to
do
bottle some, which was
we did
really
get to
fun.
bottle some! That was like truly like what a highlight of
That
was
yeah,
this
that really
year?
was
Last year.
That
Last
was,
year.
yeah,
Yeah.
October.
So yeah, it's in our link tree,
Or
you guys. Thanks, Trav.
August. It was August. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thanks for
we
plugging
share
us,
all the things. So you
Momager.
can go watch
Yeah.
it there. Yeah, let's take a break.
Take a break. Come back with some Elvira. All right.
We'll
I'll
be
be right
back. And
we're back. I just like early started us because I was so excited about what Al was just showing the camera. Look, it is the Get Out script.
Yeah.
Screenplay? Script? Yeah.
And it's a little pocket book, and it has all the like different
Stills from the movie.
Stills. And it has little deleted scenes in the back too, which I have not
love
looked at.
that.
So I'm excited
Oh my
to
god,
actually
that's so cool.
do that in this moment.
I don't know anything about the deleted scenes from that one either. So
Yeah,
that's
me either.
Very
So,
cool.
Fun. Anyways,
I
if you guys want it,
Adore.
it's available. Can't have mine.
Love. So to start us off for us, I would like to pose a question, which I got because actually the composer, Michael Abels, who composed both of our films, first of all, I didn't know until researching us that Get Out was his first time ever composing for a film. He had only done like orchestral work before. And Jordan Peele was the one who like gave him the shot, which is amazing. But anyway, he did so much press for us. Like I read like a full like 7 separate interviews that the composer gave to us. So we have like a composer heavy, music heavy section. And one of the interviewers asked him a question, which was, would you kill your tether in this situation?
Oh, you're gonna send me into like here's where like I'm not a stoner, but my brain like goes to this place. I sometimes look at myself in the mirror too long, and I feel like I'm gonna catch myself, and I'm like my other self is in there, but then I'm like, am I me or is that me?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I've like had thoughts about that since I was like a toddler. Like,
yeah. Here's the thing: if my tether's trying to kill me, bitch, may the best man win. So yes, but also again, like, if you guys haven't seen this movie, like, don't listen to any of this episode. I feel like the ending though hurts on a level, like it. Oh god, it's so hard to and like it's heartbreaking.
God, yeah. It's really hard
on so many
really hard.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm trying to kill myself, absolutely, I'm killing my tethered. I don't know. Maybe my tethered would be different, and we could just be like besties. That'd be great, you know. But I have a feeling my tethered would be fucking pissed. So chances are she doesn't want me alive. Therefore, I don't want her alive.
Very
unfortunately.
fair. Yeah.
What about you?
Would you? Well, see, I read this and I had this like unfortunate, like deep in my bones knowledge that the answer is that I would try to seduce my tethered, and it would not work.
I always love when we have completely different, right? It's like you want to kind of be like, hey, it's just like, I think me and
fun with the situation, and my tethered would not be up for it. But Travis says, all right.
Did we expect anyone listening? Did we expect anything different from Siena?
I know. Like I'm not saying it's a good answer. I'm not saying it's like a good sign for where I'm at mentally. It'd make
an interesting movie.
Exactly.
Just saying. There's some stuff there.
And I'm like Jordan Peele. I'm deeply obsessed with like doppelganger horror, and I've been like on a doppelganger horror kick, which is part of why I was like, I really want to cover us. Give me the doubles. I love a double. Been thinking a lot about doubles for my next screenplay, so I'm like, I'm very much like in doubles land. But yeah, I just wanted to start us off with that as a little tidbit.
Yeah.
Travis, I want you to drop in the chat what your answer is, since you're mocking me.
God,
I will read it out, Momager.
I think I would feel like so guilty because I just feel like there's such an inherent guilt that like I even think about my past childhood self, and I feel like really bad for her sometimes. And so like in a doppel it'd be hard, but like again, if she's coming out with me with the knife, like I will stab and say I'm sorry at the same time. You know. Travis said he'd kill it. Wow, me man, you kill.
No, it was so like so quick, so decisive. He says, "Yup."
That's such an interesting question. I feel like that could be like a fun. That's
it's
my
kind of Rorschach, right?
Yeah.
Like Travis says it's me or that dummy.
He'd be oh my god, he'd be like the dad in this. But the dad in both versions, you know?
Yes. Because the dad is like probably the
So
most
dad?
similar in his tether and non-tether forms. Like
Just
it's
a big
just like
dummy.
yeah.
Just a big
boat
himbo.
obsessed dummy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a what is it? Like small talk. I don't have the ability to small talk, but that might be a question that I will ask people moving forward.
There you go.
It's
a good
we'll
one.
see what the response is. Yeah, it's really cool. I like that.
So to kick us off with some taglines, as we talked about this on your section, I'm pretty sure Jordan Peele wrote these himself because they're actually good. There's like 2 versions of one of them, but it's just like a longer and a shorter version, so I just brought in the longer one, which is 2 years ago, Jordan Peele redefined the genre with Get Out on March 22nd to discover his new nightmare. So it's a Wes Craven nod. Because Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which I found very sweet. Of course, New Nightmares also kind of like plays with the idea of identity, because New Nightmare, the movie, features actors playing themselves. So like there's kind of a little connection there. Then we have 2 others. One is Watch Yourself, which like Jordan.
That's great.
It's so good. And then We Are Our Own Worst Enemy.
God, those work on like both of those work on so many different levels. That it's just like
you could really tell which of those was like the marketing team and which 2 were Jordan.
Yeah. Yep.
So, written, directed, and produced by Jordan Peele. This rounds out our trio of the 3 feature films that he's directed so far, and he is in pre-production for another feature right now, which I'm sure we'll cover when it comes out. He's also credited on IMDb with, before all of these films, having directed a comedy short called Battlestar Gafractica. That's his first directing credit.
That's so funny.
He also obviously co-created, starred in, and produced Key and Peele. He did Keanu, Weird City, The Twilight Zone, 2021 Candyman. He produced that one and co-wrote it. The Last OG and Wendell and Wild. He wrote the Gandhi versus MLK episode of Epic Rap Battles of History, which I didn't know and thought was fun. He also produced Spike Lee's Black Klansman. He produced Lovecraft Country, Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul, Hunters, Monkey Man, Scare Tactics, and Him, which shot here in New Mexico, and I shared some crew with. And he is also listed as a producer on an upcoming remake of Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs, which should be fascinating.
Yeah.
I am very intrigued by that, because that's like, it's very much about gentrification, and so like I really want to see his take on it. He also, as I mentioned on your half, produced this with Jason Blum of Blumhouse and Sean McKittrick, so same team as Get Out. The other thing that they worked on together was Black Klansman, which was directed by Spike Lee, but I do too. I think it's like we didn't appreciate it the way we should have at the time that it came out, I feel like, and it deserves more attention.
Yeah, I saw it on I watched it on an airplane. Like finally was like, I'm here, let me sit down and watch it. When I tell you I watched it then on the way back, I watched it when I got home. I've watched it so many times since, and I always forget kind of
it's
and his remake of Candyman is great too.
I still need to see it, and I know that's Nia DaCosta who did the new Bone Temple too. She's the one who directed it.
Got it. Yes.
But he like produced and co-wrote it. So like it is still like it's a Monkeypaw production.
Yeah.
Yes, all the good things. Obviously stars Lupita Nyong'o as Adelaide Wilson and Red. She's y'all are gonna be able to tell how much of a not Star Wars person I am. Maz Kanata, am I saying that right?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's the character that she is. And actually one of her first credits was playing that same role from the Star Wars universe in a short back in 2011 before she was in 12 Years a Slave, which was her real breakout. So I thought that was interesting.
I didn't know that.
She's also Nakia in Black Panther, Samira in A Quiet Place Day One, Roz and Rummage in The Wild Robot, Ayira on Suga, Patsy in 12 Years a Slave, and she's in the upcoming Nolan version of The Odyssey. Her part has not been like officially announced, but I think we all kind of think she's Helen of Troy, which amazing. She also, I saw this pointed out in several articles and it had me just gobsmacked. This was her first leading role. Like, she had won an Academy Award as Best Supporting Actress for 12 Years a Slave and had not gotten a leading role until 2019. Which, like,
see, thank you, Jordan, for giving like these actors a stage to be on. Because it's like that is insane.
It's disgusting.
She's still both her and Daniel Kaluuya, I think, need to be like their star power.
Yeah. And I know she talks about like she likes to take breaks between projects. She says that she needs like fallow periods in between to like restore herself, which I love. Sure. But like I also want to see her getting meatier roles. Like write good stuff for her.
Yeah.
Write this for her.
Right.
We have Winston Duke as Gabriel Wilson / Abraham. He's M'Baku in the Black Panther / the MCU as a whole.
He's so handsome.
I know. He's Dwight on Modern Family, Will in 9 Days, Hawk in Spencer Confidential, and Dan Tucker in The Fall Guy. There's Elizabeth Moss as Kitty Tyler and Dahlia. She's obviously best known as Peggy on Mad Men and June in The Handmaid's Tale. She's also, where I first saw her was as Polly in Girl Interrupted.
Same.
Angsty gal classic.
Yep.
She's Zoe on The West Wing, so we share some West Wing connections. Daphne in Get Him to the Greek. Sophie in The One I Love. Robin in Top of the Lake, which was really interesting. Dorothy in The Old Man and the Gun. Becky Something in Her Smell. Shirley Jackson in Shirley, which I still need to see. Cecilia in the 2020 version of The Invisible Man. Alumna in The French Dispatch. And Mary in Imperfect Women. We have Tim Heidecker as Josh, Tyler, and Tex. He co-created and stars in Tim and Eric's Bedtime Stories, so he's that guy. He's Francis in the Sarah Silverman program, which I loved back in the day. Swanson in The Comedy, Coach Brad in Brigsby Bear, Whaleboat Captain Daniel Goobler in Ant-Man and the Wasp, the voice of Perry White in The People's Joker, which I thought was really cool. Rodney on Killing It, Gerard in Pavements, Jordan in What We Do in the Shadows, Hayden in Atropia, Tom in Him, and he hosts the review show On Cinema.
Cool.
Then there's Shahadi Wright Joseph as Zora Wilson and Umbre. She's incredible in this. The teenage daughter. Yeah, she's so good.
I also love, I gotta say, a character who from the moment her mom says grab your shoes, that bitch does not miss a beat. And
not
just
a beat.
Goes for it, and she is so satisfying.
She executes
in a horror movie
the
to
plan.
Watch.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. She's insane.
She knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah,
and it's so satisfying.
It's so satisfying.
Yeah. Seeing a horror character who's not dumb, it really hits, right? And so Shahadi is also the voice of young Nala in the 2019 Lion King, which I thought was really cute.
Really
there's like all of these promotional photos of her like looking at a lion like next to each other. It's really cute. She's Ruby in Them, which a lot of people like. When I finished watching Us, that came up next as the people who watched Us also watched Them.
Funny.
She got her big break as little Inez on the 2016 live TV version of Hairspray. So speaking of live TV adaptations of musicals, kind of funny.
Better one than
honestly, I didn't watch either, but it looked better from the little
the Peter Pan one. Just gonna say, it
doesn't seem like that's saying a whole lot. Yeah. We have Evan Alex as Jason and Pluto. He's also Jake on Manny and Daniel in Trees of Peace. Yahya Abdul-Mateen as Russell and Wayland. He's also Black Manta in Aquaman. Cadillac on The Get Down. W.D. Wheeler in The Greatest Showman. Omar in The Handmaid's Tale. Carl in, I shouted this one out for you, Al, Season 5, Episode 1 of Black Mirror, which is the one called Vipers.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson from previous ones. If I shout out a Black Mirror person, I need to have the name of the episode for you.
Yeah, I do. I know exactly which one that is.
I knew you would. He's also Cal in Watchmen, the TV series, Bobby Seale in The Trial of the Chicago Seven, Anthony McCoy in Candyman, Morpheus and Agent Smith in Matrix Resurrections, Will Sharp in Ambulance, and Simon Williams in Wonder Man. And Travis says that's the one with Anthony Mackie. Oh, cool.
So Vipers, it is a heartbreaking, that Black Mirror episode. It is, his performance is so good, and it's such a heartbreaking story. It's a queer story. So everyone should watch it. Also, I just binged him in Wonder Man. One of the best. That performance, I had chills. He is insane. It got greenlit for a season 2. He is amazing. And I didn't know, watching Us, I had just finished watching Wonder Man.
That's
and
so
I finished
funny.
watching Wakanda Forever,
Oh
because
my
I'm trying to get through my some of my some Marvel fell through the cracks because we all got fatigued.
Through. Yep.
Before Doomsday. So he is insane. So I would say, if you want to see more of him, please watch Wonder Man and watch Vipers from Black Mirror. He is so good.
Amazing. And our last cast member that I wanted to shout out is Anna Diop as Rain and Eartha. She's Coriander in Titans, Aisha in Nanny, Rose in The Messengers, Isabel in Greenleaf, Nicole in 24 Legacy, Desiree in Bosch, Verinia in Book of Clarence, Sierra in Scarpetta, Anna in Something About Her, and Kate in The Keeping Hours. And moving into writing, a big part of the reason that Peele wanted this to be his next project was because he was dissatisfied with those genre-based reactions to Get Out. And this is where I have the quote from your section talking about how it broke his heart. No, it's so perfect. And so he goes on to say, like, as a horror fan, I really wanted to contribute something to that world. And so this is the project that he does to do that. He's like, I want to write something that nobody can see as anything but a horror film. And he did. He succeeded. Nobody can see this as anything but straight up horror.
Yeah.
And he also, again, like, there are so many ways in which this movie is kind of in conversation with, or like in response to the response to Get Out. And so he also really wanted it to be a movie that isn't directly explicitly about race in the way that Get Out is, and says that, quote, and I loved this. He said, "It's important to me that we can tell Black stories without it being about race. I realized I had never seen a horror movie of this kind where there's an African-American family at the center that just is. After you get over the initial realization that you're watching a Black family in a horror film, you're just watching a movie. You're just watching people. I feel like it proves a very valid and very different point than Get Out, which is not everything is about race. Get Out proved the point that everything is about race. I've proved both points." I love it. I can like so hear it in his voice too.
Right. And I've heard him talk about that before too, and it was such like I think a interesting, again, I can't speak from a Black perspective, but I find that such like a smart and interesting, just from like a Hollywood perspective, choice on his behalf, on like a very a different level, like a businessy level, that it came off such a success from Get Out, but then also to, again, proving both points in so many different ways, that it's just like the business side of him too is even just inherently like he's thinking on like a level, like he's always just a jump ahead of everything.
Exactly.
So yeah, I love that quote.
It's so satisfying. And with that said, though, he does see Get Out and Us as being two parts of a quartet, which I'm like, music to my ears of films.
Right?
A quartet. So more is on the way. These interviews were all from before he made Nope, so I don't know if he's thinking of that as being part of the quartet, and I can't remember whether that came up. I think it's separate.
You think it's separate? I thought it was. Trav,
is
do
it
some
together
for us? I could have sworn he that's part of it, but maybe that's just us.
I'm trying to remember
onto him.
Well, and like I've been going back and forth on this with myself since I started my notes, because he says part of the reason that he sees Get Out and Us as being connected is because they're both movies where the horror isn't like explicitly supernatural. Like there is some there's some like light sci-fi elements to both of them, in terms of like the people living underground, in terms of the surgery that's going on in Get Out, but it's all like pretty close to reality. And Us is about aliens, but it's also, then I'm thinking about it more, and I'm also like, at the same time, so much of the most horrendous parts of Nope are about the way humans treat animals. And so I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't
It
know,
is grounded
actually.
in
There's like
that's
a
the
really good
it's
argument you
more
can
of
make either
a
way.
I was gonna say it's more of like a organism, and I almost feel like to a point
Yeah.
like it is nature, and then I also a lot of people talk about how the alien is um oh my god, what's his father's name in that? Oh, I could hear his name.
Oh,
But
oh,
that's his
oh.
eye. That's his iris, and it
Yeah.
really is
Otis
Otis Senior.
Senior.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, I know there's an eye in there. So yeah,
And like
I don't know. Maybe that's
that,
just me putting it on to
no, that
him
makes
that
sense.
I
Well,
see it as part, but
and like the absent father is a really big part of all his films, and that's definitely a part of Nope. Maybe it is part of it. I don't know. Write in and tell us what you think.
yeah.
I think you could make a
But
really
that's
good case
yeah,
either way. And
yeah,
it's also like,
absolutely.
are aliens like quote unquote supernatural? It's kind of like right on the edge between the two
Yeah, I'm like,
genres,
it's just
right? Because
another for me. It's just like again another being that's trying to survive and eat, and it's less of an alien to me than
yeah.
could be. I don't
And
know.
it's
That's my
also
take.
like, I don't feel like that's really the heart of, like, to me, Jean
Mm-mm.
Jacket was not the heart of the horror. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
no.
yeah, it's everything
I
around
like that.
Gordy's birthday that's horrifying. Um, ugh,
Freaky
so,
monkey. Freaky
yeah,
monkey.
God, so upsetting. But that does mean either way, we have at least one more coming in this world, which is really exciting.
No, give us all the movies, but
And
take your time.
I know, ugh, but we're desperate. And the inspiration for The Tethered in particular comes from a
Mm.
Twilight Zone episode, which I felt like I had to bring in given all the Twilight Zone connections. It's an
Yes.
episode called Mirror Image. And in that episode, a woman meets her doppelganger at a bus stop and believes that she's encountered like an evil copy of herself from an alternate universe who's come to replace her in this one. Have you seen it?
I have. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love
So it's like,
original Twilight Zone.
oh, I know, it's so, it really
It's
gets under your
they're
skin.
amazing.
And there are so many incredible stories that have been developed based loosely off of original Twilight
Yeah,
Zone episodes.
yeah,
Like that'd be a really interesting collection to do.
that would
Um
be.
but another kind of key piece of inspiration comes from his college days, studying at Sarah Lawrence in upstate New York, talking about that kind of East Coast atmosphere
Yeah.
from yours. And when he was there, he would take a lot of night trains back to campus that went through this underpass. And he has a quote where he says, oh, I know, like, because, I also
Spooky.
took those trains and
Yep.
they are, especially late at night, they get real liminal.
Oh, God.
And he says, quote, you get out of the train and you have to go down through an underpass and come out of the other side. There's no one else there, just this dark American town. I'd come up and I'd look over to the other side and I'd picture seeing the tail end of myself going down that same tunnel to presumably emerge right near me 30 seconds later. And
Oh,
I can't be seen by that other version of me. And that's where I love to start a horror movie. What's this primal thing that's affecting me in a way I don't quite understand? Which I think gets at a lot of, this is a part of something I will keep returning to, of I think one of the main, not the only, but a key reason why Get Out has like a success that this film does not, even though it does do very well at the box office and critics do love it. The reason why I think it's like a lot of people's like third favorite Jordan Peele movie, which I think is wrong.
yeah.
But
No, it's
I
hard to
think a big part
categorize
of
them
it
all.
is because he's like tapping into something here that is really like primal and liminal, and like he's not trying to define it super clearly, whereas Get Out is like very straightforward, high concept, what if this thing then this thing.
Yep.
And Us just does not work that way, and if you try to
Yeah.
approach Us in those terms, you're just going to get frustrated spinning out
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
about like who's feeding the rabbits, like okay,
Yeah,
they're eating all
I
the rabbits, but what are
know.
they? I mean, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's so easy to run down tangents like that, and that's like
Yep.
just not what this movie, that's not the world that this movie is trying to live in, I don't think. Like
Yeah,
it,
that's what I always consistently see is people getting bogged down with the wrong things because
yeah.
Get Out was so look at this Easter egg, it directly means
Mhm.
something like it was like that movie was so you yeah, you really even with Nope too, it's like then there's like this weird mix of both of those things in that movie where you
Mhm.
kind of just have to
Totally.
watch them isolated and not
Mhm.
you can't put them up against each other and Get Out just was
Yeah.
Yeah, it that bums me
It's
out.
also Get Out is very like self-contained because it is like it's
Yeah.
made cheaper. It's his first
Yep.
film. And this in some ways, like a lot of people talk about people's first movies having this like throw everything at the wall because you're scared you'll never make another one. And this one has
Mhm.
that feeling to me where it's like
Mhm.
I have so many ideas. What if I never get a third chance? I've got to get them all out
Sure.
here.
Ah.
Um I don't know that that's necessarily something he felt, but it's like an
Sure.
energy that I get from it.
Yeah.
And it took him on like the writing process itself, it took him 6 months to kind of mentally outline it because he
Mm.
does not like to put pen to paper until he feels like he can actually visualize the whole plot. And
Ah.
then he took 6 months writing and rewriting, so 1 year total,
Oh,
much
wow.
faster than Get
Wow.
Out. He's like picking up the
Yeah.
pace.
He
He's
kinda
learned
knows
a
what
lot from that
he
first
needs. Yeah,
time.
I was gonna say versus just, like,
Exactly.
writing and stepping away, writing and stepping away. He's like,
Yeah.
"Let me just give myself a
Hmm.
minute." I'm
And
glad
I
he
also
learned.
think he has more confidence too. I think he's like,
Yeah.
I kind of know what I'm doing now,
Yeah, he's like, "Wait a
which you
second."
love to see. And apparently, one working title for it, slash, I think the title that they used while they were shooting for like putting on
Mm.
signs and stuff like that to keep people from knowing necessarily exactly what it was Deep Cuts, which I thought was kind of fun.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know
Um,
that.
but as Peele says to the actual title that he chooses, quote, the only thing consistent about the idea of us, quote unquote, is that when you have an us, you have a them. Um,
Shut
and
up.
it kind of, that
Yeah,
really sort
damn.
of opens it all up for you, right? Like
Yeah.
that's that idea of this
Ooh.
like paired division is right at the heart of the story. So moving into themes, approach, and history, I kind of did like a motifs breakdown because I feel like much like Get Out, this movie is like chock full of Easter eggs.
Oh,
But
yeah.
unlike Get Out, I think they are a lot more not abstract, but I think they're more opaque in some ways, where
Mhm.
like you really need to sit with them and think about them or hear him talking about them or take
Yeah.
some time
Yeah.
writing about them. They're not going to just like immediately emerge to you in the same way,
Yeah.
which I think is really fun. So,
Yeah.
first of all, on like a character level, Peele gives this great interview where he breaks them down into archetypes, and he
Ugh.
says he calls them like the archetypal foursome, where Adelaide is the leader,
Mhm.
Zora is the warrior, which like, yes, that's why we
Yes.
love her.
Mhm.
Gabe is the fool.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
He's
And
our
Jason
fool.
he is our fool. He's our sweet little fool. Our sweet little humbo. And Jason is the wizard, which I loved because it does very much have this feeling like he is tuned
Mhm.
into something that the rest of the family is
Oh,
not.
yeah.
Um, and then he goes into kind of talking about story shape, and he brings up a few examples. Alice in Wonderland, The
Oh, yeah.
Wizard of Oz, and The Nutcracker, which the soundtrack also nods to because it
Ah,
uses little pieces of the Nutcracker
ah,
score
ah,
as stories about girls going on journeys and places that this and that canon of like girls going on journeys to another world. And I'm like, that's one of my favorite story archetypes. I
I
love
was
this.
gonna say same because you just listed all of
Hmm.
like the things that I love, and I didn't even
Yes.
think about that in the same context, and I'm actually gagged over.
And it totally
Oh,
does tie
I
them all
love the
together,
Nutcracker.
right? Hmm.
Absolutely.
And then on like the
Damn.
film inspo side, there are like very clear visual references to funny games. You know, you've got this tormented
Mhm.
family sitting on the couch. There's a lot of Tale of Two Sisters. There's a lot of The Shining. The twins, especially, are very
Mm.
Grady
Oh, yeah, yeah,
sisters
yeah.
coded.
Yeah, yeah.
Martyrs was a reference. The Goonies was a big reference.
Yeah,
And he actually gave his two leads a list of films to watch that included a whole lot of those.
cute.
It was like a horror vocabulary that he
Ugh,
would use to refer to with them.
I
Um,
want one.
but I
Jordan,
know,
give us
Jordan,
one.
give me a horror vocab, please. Um, so the tethered, he really wants the tethered to function like a new universal horror monster type along the lines of like Wolfman or Frankenstein or Dracula.
Mhm.
You have your tethereds. Um, but on a symbolic level, he's obviously got a whole lot to say both with and about them. And I brought in a quote. He says, we are our own worst enemy, not just as individuals, but more importantly, as a group, as a family, as a society, as a country, as a world. We are afraid of the shadowy, mysterious other that's going to come and kill us and take our jobs and do whatever. But what we're really afraid of is the thing we're suppressing, our sin, our guilt, our contribution to our own demise. No one's taking responsibility for where we're at. Owning up, blaming ourselves for our part of the problems of the world is something that I'm not seeing.
Wow.
And so that's it. That's like really kind of the underlying like moral center of this movie is this idea of like we are all complicit in the oppression of each other. And in order for any of us to live a comfortable, like middle class life in America, there are so many people who are, you know, starving and dying and seeing schools blown up and stuff in other parts of the world.
And just the idea too, the line of like they abandoned them too, and it's just like we're abandoning. Oh God, that's.
And we see at the very beginning that title card talking about all these tunnels that are abandoned, and it's like, is it abandoned if there's somebody living in them?
Right.
Or is it the tunnels and the people are abandoned? And a part of his mythology of the tethered that he mentions that I was like really intrigued by is he says that the closer the tethered get to their above ground selves, the more unexplained coincidences start to show up. Like it creates this kind of disturbance in the fabric of the universe. And so unexplained things start to align, which you have that line where Adelaide is talking about that, the sense of like, you know, when things just start lining up, which like, I think all of us have had experiences like that in real life, and they're all so unnerving. Like, it feels cool and special, but also like something's wrong.
Like, what's the next turn now? This can't be going this way.
What's this leading me to? Where's the tethered gonna pop out from? Rabbits. Why rabbits? Peele gives a joke answer and then a real answer. And so
of course he does.
His joke answer is that he, quote, wanted to make a movie full of Easter eggs. So of course you need rabbits.
Of course.
God damn it. The real answer is, quote, they're an animal of duality. They're adorable, but they terrify me at the same time. And they've got those scissor-like ears that creep me out. Which, like, I'd never thought of their ears as scissor-like, but, like, yup, sure are. And he also describes animals in his films as, quote, representing this battle between science and religion, which, again, you see with the deer in Get Out. There's definitely a real strong parallel there, and made all the more interesting by the fact that your director is the one voicing both of those creatures. And just a fun little note, as you can imagine, the rabbits fuck a ton on set and it keeps ruining takes. Like trying to get a take without rabbits fucking in it is so hard.
That's so funny. I didn't even think about that.
I've like been watching for it now as I was watching through, and like I didn't catch any, but God, that must have been a nightmare.
Like, that's why they were in cages in the beginning.
Exactly. Hands Across America. Why are Hands Across America such a big plot point? And that's a thing that I've seen a lot of people complain about is like, I don't understand what this whole random people joining Hands Across America symbol is for. Like, I get that it's a thing that happened, but like, why, Jordan Peele? He says, quote, it's an example of this American duality, the illusion that we're contributing to something that is actually making change, as opposed to something that makes us feel better and absolves us of our responsibility to enact actual change. Because, like, the real Hands Across America did not actually, because there was, like, enormous overhead and, like, it wasn't well run and all this stuff, it did not actually raise a whole lot of money for the people that it was supposed to be raising money for. There was, a lot of money went out the door instead. Scissors. This one is actually an observation from an IMDb user rather than directly from Peele, and it's the only one that's not directly from him that I brought in, but it really makes sense to me, and I wanted to bring it up because of that. This person points out that scissors are a tool/weapon that's made out of two matching twinned blades joined together.
It's just that simple and perfect, isn't it? Huh?
Yep.
See, so we're like, what does it mean?
Sure.
He's like, they're just,
it's right
like
there.
Two equal parts coming together to do, change something once they come together. Once those two blades come down.
And then the one glove, it's a Michael Jackson reference.
Yep.
And
I was gonna say,
obviously,
the little girl.
We see her with the Thriller t-shirt. That's what she wants
Yeah.
from the carnival at the beginning. We also, the red jumpsuits are kind of a reference too, because he's in red in the Thriller music video. And Peele, when talking about Michael Jackson and like why is there so much Michael Jackson imagery, he calls him, quote, the patron saint of duality. So like any of these
Yeah.
things that you're gonna say like this is just like a whole bunch of random mishmash thrown together,
Yeah.
they're all metaphors for duality. Every last one of them, and he can walk you through all of them so clearly. And like, God, when you hear it like that, it really starts to feel like we just were all too dumb for this movie at the time that it came out. Like,
it's
I
think,
all
again,
there.
Coming from Get Out, I think people were looking at the wrong things, and we collectively were looking at the wrong things, and it really like he made it simple, and I think we wanted to overthink what it was.
I agree.
And you did have to kind of let that go.
Exactly.
I reached right for my phone to like look up stuff about it as soon as I finished watching it to be
Of
like,
course.
oh my God, there's things
I did
I'm
the
missing.
same thing. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
And like, but when you hear him talk about it, it's all so simple. Like it's just the first thing you
Perfectly
think of,
genius.
it's that. Yeah.
Yep.
And production, shot all in California, unlike yours. Most of it was in LA. The main house that's getting invaded was in Pasadena, and then obviously they shoot at the real Santa Cruz boardwalk, which like is a particular like soft spot that I have for this movie because that was the first boardwalk I ever went to as a child.
That's
My
cool.
grandpa
That's a great one.
lived in the Bay Area, and so we would like occasionally get to take a day trip to the Santa Cruz beach. And
Cool.
the first roller coaster I ever rode was the Big Dipper there, which they talk about at the beginning.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it is like there is like a sense of duality to that boardwalk too, where it's like there is so much tourism and life and bustling energy, and also everything is kind of falling apart and decrepit, and like the like Big Dipper ride is like I think it's like one of the oldest roller coasters that's still made entirely of wood, and so like it's like creaky and like there's paint peeling off, and like it's really there's like this seedy underbelly to it in a way, and like this captures that energy really beautifully. It's also, this movie is canonically set during the production of The Lost Boys, which shot at the Santa Cruz boardwalk, and that's when they're there at the beginning saying like, oh, there's a movie shooting over there, you should see if they need extras. That's what it is.
Shut your mouth. I didn't realize that that's oh my God,
it's
I
the
love
Lost
that.
Boys.
Oh,
which
I
was
almost
one of-
suggested we do Lost Boys like next,
Oh my
actually,
God,
which
we
is really funny.
should.
I didn't realize.
That's so good.
That's so
Yeah.
oh my God, I cannot wait to watch that.
Isn't that
moment.
cute?
That's really fun.
Do you know what the budget is? Did you encounter it in your research?
I didn't because
Ooh,
Get
I
Out was
love.
everything was very isolated, so
That makes
you
sense.
naturally were running into
Yeah, I definitely read your budget while reading about mine. Yeah.
Yeah. What
Do you want to take
no
a
idea.
stab? A scissor stab?
A scissor stab. I'm gonna say like 20.
Right on the money. Ding 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 ding.
That's the first time I think that's happened in like 3 years.
Boardwalk prize. Somebody
Yay!
bring Al a
Big
Thriller
stuffy
t-shirt.
Oh yeah, no, Thriller t-shirt, please. Yeah, I want that one.
20 billion.
damn.
Yeah, so because I feel like if I'm remembering correctly, I think that Nope was like 75 or 80.
Yeah,
so you
he
see him
really
go from
leapt up there.
4.5 to 20 to 80. Like it's really just like stepping stones. And like
It
it
makes sense with and especially Nope too, because he built that whole freaking
Oh,
house
yeah,
and
they-
town and shit.
yeah,
so it's like
they
the budget went to
so-
use.
And like in this one, a lot of it is VFX because this is such a VFX heavy movie in order to have the people interacting with their doppelgangers. So that's
I didn't think about that.
there's so many hidden
It's so
VFX shots in
seamless.
this movie. It is so seamless.
I kind of forget that they're one actor.
I know.
Like
and that's
literally
like
halfway
such a
through the film, like,
testament to how well it's done.
yeah.
It's incredible.
Damn.
It's so incredible. And we're going to talk about exactly how they did it.
Oh,
But we're
cool.
not there
Yeah.
quite yet. Also, it shot from end of July to the start of October. So slightly longer production, but
yeah.
not nearly as long as Nope. So again, just right in the middle. His Goldilocks zone.
Truly.
This I do think is probably my favorite Jordan Peele. And I love all of them. But this is like revisiting it, especially and learning more about it. I'm like, oh, this is just like such
it
a
hits. Yeah, it
juicy
connects
a
with
juicy
you.
little rabbit to dig into. I'm so sorry. I regret saying that
Gross.
intensely. So moving into like cast crew performances, I loved this so much, and I imagine this is also true for your film. I'm not sure, but so one of the benefits to having Jordan Peele, who is the guy who before making Get Out was most famous for his spot-on Obama impressions. Like
Yep.
it was like The Anger Translator was like his most well-known appearance period before Get Out. So one of the benefits to having that guy directing this movie is that when actors were having to react to their off-camera tether, doing something that they'd just done, Peele would mimic their delivery back to them off camera to help
Oh,
them
no
get the
way.
performance right.
Oh, shit. That's fucking amazing.
Isn't that cool? And I saw a little clip of
Oh
it
my
where
God.
he's like working with Lupita and he like imitates her voice for Red so well. It's
Yeah.
stunning. I thought that Lupita was talking to herself for a second, then I was like, oh my God, that's
Ew.
fucking coming from Jordan. That's wild.
Oh, I think I saw
Yeah,
some clips
it's
because the anniversary was just on the 22nd
yeah,
or something like
22nd.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep, March
I
22nd.
wanted so badly to watch things, but I wanted to wait till this. So I'm gonna watch it now
Oh, I'm
because I
so
think
glad you did.
I
Yeah.
saved that clip for myself. So
Ooh, yeah. Is it like a behind the scenes?
mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the BTS on this is really fun. Peel also wrote the part of Adelaide with Lupita in mind, which I love.
I love that.
Like I don't think she'd officially signed on from the beginning, but he was writing hoping that it would be her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he goes on the record comparing her performance as Red to Hannibal Lecter, which I think is very well deserved.
Amazing.
And such a high compliment.
Yeah.
And a big part of it is the voice, which we've got to talk about the voice.
Yeah.
Okay, there's so much to this voice that I did not. There was a whole controversy around this that completely missed me. Did you know about this?
Not the controversy around it.
Oh my God. Yeah, Lupita Nyong'o had to
Wait.
like publicly apologize for this.
I don't know
Which,
if I jog my memory because I'm trying to think
yeah.
if
Okay, so it's also like, I feel like this is also, I need to tell you what the controversy was because I think
Okay.
it's valid, but then I also need to add on that there's like a new wrinkle to it in the world of 2026 where it like now feels like it's in like a third light. And so like,
Oh gosh.
I just
Okay,
gotta like
cool.
lay it all out on the
Amazing.
table.
Yes,
So,
please.
okay, so here's a quote from Lupita. She says, quote, I was inspired by the condition spasmodic dysphonia, which is a condition that comes from trauma, sometimes emotional, sometimes physical. She's not like totally right about that. It's involuntary. It's not like a psychological condition. It's like a neurological condition, but
Okay.
and it creates this spasming in your vocal cords that leads to an irregular flow of air. So I studied that and I worked with an ear, nose, and throat doctor and a vocal therapist and my dialogue coach to try and make sure that I could do it safely because I had two roles to play and I couldn't afford to damage my voice, which like amazing,
Yeah.
makes sense. Particularly all the script says about Red's voice is that it's scratchy and sounds like she hasn't been using it for a long time,
Oh,
which like
okay.
yeah, she
Yeah.
100% gets that across. It also has a great description of her movement quality where it just calls her, quote, Queen Cockroach. And that's it. I'm like, ugh, disgusting. And so like, yeah, she has that like little
I
like
don't like that.
jittery
That's
thing across
accurate.
the floor.
That's
Yeah,
accurate. I
it's
don't like
so
that.
scary.
It makes it
Especially like
worse
when
in the
she's
best way.
like slinking away from Adelaide underground when they like
Oh, when
just
she's
have
walking
their first.
backwards.
It's so it's Queen Cockroach. But
Yeah.
so
Ugh.
the
Okay.
controversy that comes up around this is that several folks who have this condition and two disability rights groups go on the record saying that they
wow.
felt like the way she talked about it was demonizing. And she then goes on the record to say that she's really sorry, that wasn't her intention. She cared a lot about Red while she was playing this character and really tried to like hold love for her. But that, you know, her intent was not to demonize, but people felt like, oh, you're describing this evil character, which I feel like also is not what Red is. Like
she's not evil
Red
at
is not evil. There's so much, we have so much empathy for Red by the end of this movie, I think.
Yeah.
But okay, but so here's the like third new 2026
Yes,
wrinkle, which
Bring
blew
us
my
up to date.
mind. So the thing is, she
God.
bases this voice on a specific person. Can you take any guesses as to who this is?
Ew, no. Wait, do I know that? Oh, hit my mic. Who?
Yes,
do I
you
know
definitely
this
know this person.
person? Ew, who? Do we
She
like this
bases
person?
this No, we do not.
Okay.
And that's why I'm like, there's a new layer to this. So it was partially inspired by, and this person does in fact have spasmodic dysphonia. And she heard this person's voice at like a fashion show where they were like doing an announcement or something, and she was like, "Oh, I want that vocal quality because that's weird as fuck." It's fucking RFK Jr.
I was just gonna say,
Yes!
Sienna. I was gonna
It's
say the fucking
RFK
RFK Jr. because he's the
It
only person in this
is!
moment that I was like, wait, who's a fucked up kind of voice?
It's RFK Jr. The voice of Red in Us is based on fucking RFK
hate
Jr.
that.
Our
Before we
vaccine
all knew,
conspiracy
before we had to
theorist
listen to
in
him,
chief. Yes.
before we had to
And
listen
I'm
to him all
like,
the goddamn time.
I'm like, listen, we must listen to people with disabilities. We must listen to disability rights groups. And also, if there is one individual who happens to have a disability that I feel okay about making fun of the particular individual, it's RFK Jr.
I was gonna say, it's him. I don't give a fuck what he sounds
Yeah.
like. What a
Yeah.
fucking piece of shit he is. So,
And so, like, looking
Oh
back on it in retrospect,
my
I think it
God.
feels different knowing that, like, she specifically was like, I want to sound like RFK Jr.
Sienna, I wish I got that out. I didn't want to interrupt you
I
because
was
my brain
so
was like,
sorry.
RFK. No, because
Oh my God, I
I
should've
feel like my
held.
brain was faster than
Mhm.
like my mouth could
Mhm.
open. Oh my God. I'm glad I like silently I got there with you. That is
Yeah.
insane. That
Yeah.
is insane.
And it just
This
makes it even
information-
creepier.
When did she come out and say this?
Like, at the
When-
time, like, in 2019, and we, like, didn't really know who like, RFK Jr., like, people, like, knew that he existed, but he wasn't, like,
Some people,
you
not
know,
me, people. Not me, people.
he wasn't on the level of infamy that he is today.
Oh my
Like, we didn't know about, like,
God.
the
I
brain
both
worm
love-
and all of that shit. Like,
I both love and hate that at the same time. Oh man.
Isn't that incredible?
That's
really, like,
incredible. and
wow.
That's
Awful.
wild.
Just all the, yeah.
That might be my favorite fact from this so far. So thank you for putting that one in my pocket.
You're so welcome. It's so delightful. I have two more little Lupita tidbits, and then we're moving properly into the
Yeah.
shooting. First, Lupita tidbit, a little sweeter image to follow up all of the
Thank
RFK
you.
Jr. horrors
Let's
and like
get
the
him outta
Queen
here.
Cockroach and all that. So Lupita, while she was shooting Black Panther, set up a cast field trip to go watch Get Out because she loved it so much. So she like got everybody tickets and took everyone to go see it.
Stop
Yeah.
it.
And like obviously that's like,
really
you know,
cute.
it's
I wanna be invited to
before this
that.
project came to her, like she was just a fan of his work, which I
Oh
think
my
is just so
God.
cute.
That's really
Um
what a cool image to think about.
mhm.
Oh my God, I love
And
that.
again, just like another tie-in between our movies.
Mhm.
So last little tidbit, and this just like gives me the creeps because it's something that I noticed the very first time I watched this and then second guessed it and thought I'd like misseen something.
Oh no.
But you know, at the very beginning when they're all in the car and
Mhm.
I Got Five on It comes on the radio and
She's
she's like
offbeat.
she's offbeat.
Yeah.
She's offbeat, and it's foreshadowing that she's one of the tethered because she
Mhm.
didn't get to grow up with somebody teaching her how to
Mhm.
be on beat.
Isn't it
Oh.
so juicy? That's like one of my favorite. That was a fact I learned like not that long ago from like it came up on something, and I was like, oh, so when I
Yeah.
watched it, I had not watched it since learning that fact,
Mhm.
and it's just so simple and subtle.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I remember the first time I watched it thinking like, I must have seen that wrong because Lupita Nyong'o definitely knows how to be on
Yeah,
beat.
right?
And clearly in like a scene where she's talking about being on beat,
Yeah.
clearly she
she's-
must have been on beat, right? Yeah.
And she
Jordan
wasn't.
Peele with his bunnies dropping Easter eggs.
I know, truly. There's so many, like, it's so wild to watch it.
Mhm.
Again,
It's-
like,
yeah.
the rewatchability of his films are always just...
Yeah. It's incredible.
I-
There's so many
It's
yeah,
fresh
so many
every
layers
time.
to peel back. Yeah, and you find new things every time, which is
Yeah.
it's so delightful. So moving into production, y'all know that I don't like to bring in producer stories, but I do have
Yep.
one good one that I had to shout out, and it's from Ian Cooper, the creative director you mentioned of Monkeypaw.
Yeah.
And so he got asked what one of his biggest challenges as producer was on set, and he has such a funny response. He says, so quote, when we were shooting all the tethered holding hands on the beach in daylight, it dawned on me, how on earth are we going to not let this become a spoiler? Because there are people everywhere. I was looking at every person on the bluffs in the distance and
Oh.
seeing who's up there, trying to make sure no one leaked this. We started telling people, this is so funny. We started telling people that we were shooting a Verizon commercial. If we sell that, then maybe they'll disperse and try not to get the pictures. It
Was
seemed
Verizon like,
us, we're not holding hands. No Verizon across America.
So, right? That's so smart. Because, yeah, like,
It seemed,
if anyone's going to pop by, it's just like, okay.
a Verizon commercial?
cool.
I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
He says it seemed impossible not to let that leak, and somehow it didn't. So they managed it, which is incredible.
Man.
So
That's
satisfying.
insane, actually, that worked.
Mhm. Yeah, like genius. And what a to come up with that on the spot, that is some quick thinking. I
Yeah,
am
truly.
all admiration. Cinematographer. Again, we did not share a cinematographer, and in fact, he has worked with a different cinematographer for each project, which I think is really interesting. And it's almost like, I don't want to say he like stepped up from project to project, but he
Mhm.
definitely like moved up in cinematographer budget from project to project.
Yeah.
Because this film was shot by Mike Giolakis, who did shoot another film we've covered elsewhere on the pod, if his name is sounding familiar, because we spent a lot of time talking about the cinematography of this movie. In particular, he was the DP of It Follows. Doesn't that kind of make
love
sense?
that movie. It
Yeah,
does make sense.
that makes one of us. But like the framing, the composition, the lighting style, like there's a
Wow.
whole lot
That's
in
cool.
common.
That's cool.
He DP'd Split, Old, Under the Silver Lake, Eyes of Tammy Faye, Servant, Reptile, and 2024's The Piano Lesson. So somebody who had already developed a reputation at that point from It Follows as like good at shooting like unnerving suburbia, right?
Yeah.
But not
Camera movement.
oh my gosh,
makes
Hoyte van
sense, too.
Hoytema, who shot Nope, is like one of the most famous cinematographers living and breathing on the planet to this day. So it's very much like he's going up with the
Yeah.
budget.
Mm-hmm.
Production design is by the one, the only, the iconic Ruth de Jong, who I don't think we've gotten a chance to talk about before, but she, if her name sounds familiar, you might have seen her pop up in the credits of Twin Peaks: The Return. She was the production designer of that.
Oh,
She was the
cool.
one making sure the Red Room looked right. She also did Manchester by the Sea, Oppenheimer, Nope, Yellowstone. Oh, so we did cover one. She's done. My apologies. Nope, Yellowstone, and the upcoming The Odyssey. So working with Lupita again on that one. And she art directed Knight of Cups, Inherent Vice, and Song to Song. She's probably
Cool.
one of the most recognizable production designers working today. I mean, she's the one who built that whole house for Nope. Like
I was gonna say, I was like Ruth, and that makes sense because
Mhm.
her interviews about Nope were she just
Oh yeah,
it's so cool.
she's so brilliant. And again, anybody working with David Lynch, like production design is his jam. You know that person
Right?
has to be brilliant. Costume designer is Kim Barrett, who also has an incredible career.
So
She
familiar.
was the costume designer for The Matrix.
Oh shit. Well, damn.
She also did the 1996 Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet. She did Cloud
Wow.
Atlas. She did Aquaman, Speed Racer, 2019 Charlie's Angels, and 3,000 Years of Longing more recently.
Oh wow. Damn.
And one of the great pieces of like storytelling through costume is that Adelaide literally becomes more red as the story goes on and blood gets on her. So
my God.
she,
physically,
physically, yeah. Again, so much of this film deceptively simple.
Yeah.
Like it's you talk about it and you're like, oh, why did I not connect those dots before?
It's like so smart that it's so simple.
Yeah,
That's the thing too. We're
exactly.
like, where's the thing? And he's like, chill
Yeah,
out.
right in front of you. I
Right,
had
it's
it in
right
plain
there.
sight. Yeah.
You idiots.
And so now we get to talk about this film's wonderful VFX.
Yes.
Which, you know, anytime we're talking about incredible VFX, there's a few different companies that we're going to bring up, and the number one of those is ILM.
Yeah.
This was an Industrial Light and Magic film. I did not find Todd's name on this one, but I'm sure it was a whole bunch of his coworkers.
Yeah.
So
So
the
cool.
I know. I like need to text him about it after this. The VFX supervisor was a man named Grady Kofer, who also VFX supervised Alien Romulus, The
Mm.
Mandalorian, and Ready Player One. So he
Oh,
is
wow.
a big deal in the
Mando's
VFX
great.
world.
Yeah, damn.
Um, and how did they do this? Of course, there's some classic split screen shots, like which your Parent Trap style, just like
Mm-hmm.
shoot the two halves of the room, put the half together. But there's so much interaction between the two doubles
Yeah.
that you can't do that for like 90% of the time that the doubles are on screen together.
Right.
There's like a
They're
hot
always like
second where you
touching.
can do one of those. But yeah, it's really
Oh, man.
it gets real complex real fast. So what they do is primarily an enormous, and honestly, it sounds so nightmarish, enormous amount of compositing work where an actor's face is being placed on a stunt double's body,
Man.
and they're having to reshoot the scene like twice for every setup, every take.
Damn.
Where like as an example, for the fight sequence between Adelaide and Red, it took somehow they did it in just 2 days, which like seems miraculous
Holy
to
shit.
me. That's incredibly impressive. But Lupita would always play Red first and then switch to Adelaide. I'm imagining
Okay.
partially because Red takes so much energy that like
Mhm.
you'd kind of need to, right? The underground location also to be able to shoot that was a built set with removable walls and a green screen behind the removable walls so that they could easily do set extensions in post.
Cool.
And knowing that, I was watching for that, and I did notice if you look at like the long shots down the hallway, the bunnies in the background only move one time, and all the other bunnies in the foreground are like jumping around and moving, and those bunnies,
Funny.
they're just like completely still except for one little like boop at the very end of
And they're
the
like,
shot.
"Who else would be looking down there?" We're like, "We are."
Yeah.
I am.
So that's the only like
Sure.
tiny little area where
If you
like
really
the
like,
VFX
oh,
showed a little
cool.
bit to me, and it's just because
Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah.
But let's see, for I loved this also. There's cool VFX like behind the scenes footage of them shooting this particular part for the scene where young Adelaide first encounters Red, where like the switch off happens.
Yes. Yes.
They had to, because they want it to look like that child actor is really strangling someone, and so in order to do that, they couldn't just have her like strangle her body double. So they gave her a paper cup wrapped in like green like foam so that they
Oh
could
my
like
God.
take that out, composite the hands from her onto like it's like a 3-part composite shot. So there's
Yeah.
her hands are getting replaced and her head is getting replaced. So the shot feels extra uncanny, which really adds to
Yeah.
it. Like I think
That's
all of these
so
places where you're getting these like face replacements are really,
Mhm.
it helps that there's just like a tiny little bit of your brain that's like something's not quite right,
Mhm.
because something's
Mhm.
not quite right. Like
That's so
that's the
good.
whole story. And so it really like the means fits the message, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm also just like watching this, I was thinking, my God, have we come a long ways from The Crow, which like was incredible for its time. But like that's
Right.
talking about like like a body double with a face replacement. It's the same basic
Mhm.
technique that The Crow was using, but like look
Mhm.
how much better
Ama
we've gotten to be able to
Yeah.
do a fight scene like that where
I was gonna
both
say that's
people, yeah,
yeah.
it's
That's why
incredible.
I forget. I have to like remind
Hmm.
myself that there aren't two
Yeah.
of them of every
Yeah.
actor in this because I mean it's truly so seamless that it's like it's eerie.
It's incredible. And Grady talks about that being like kind of two parts of what he found really interesting about the project. One was like, coming off when your bread and butter is stuff like The Mandalorian and Ready Player One,
Mhm.
it's really interesting to do something where the VFX are much less in your face and much less like,
Mhm.
it's not this like expansive giant world. It's like very grounded and supposed to be as real as
Yeah.
possible. And secondly, that
It's
this is a
very
story where the VFX are so integrated into the plot. Like the entire
yeah.
plot is dependent on one specific kind of VFX gag. And so it has to be so seamless or else the entire movie doesn't work. And he
Right?
clearly was like,
Yeah.
well, that sounds fun.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, a
he's got like the
challenge.
biggest smile
Uh,
describing this. Like you can tell he
that's
knows what
good.
good work he did too.
I was gonna say because that seems like something that could be like wildly overwhelming to be like this has to look
Oh my
real,
God.
and it's just
Yeah.
like okay,
Yeah.
so we're not in space, and there's not
Yeah.
aliens, there's not like okay,
Yeah.
this has to look like a real human doppelganger.
Well, and
Got it.
like we've we've talked about before, it's a lot easier to do a special effect showing something that we don't know what it's supposed to look like in the real
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to make up not easy. It's comparatively easy to make up an alien planet and have your eyes buy it, as opposed to having two actors seem to share a space that they're not actually
Yeah.
sharing. And so, like, it's so impressive. I also wanted to shout out the editor, Nicholas Mansour. I realized I've like not been really giving editors their proper due, and he's got an amazing career. He worked early on Key and Peele and Keanu and Drunk History, so like he started out with
Yeah.
Jordan, which I think is cute.
Aw.
Went on to Cobra Kai, the 2019 Twilight Zone,
Oh, cool.
Nope, and Nickel Boys, which is incredibly edited. And he's got a really fun quote, and this kind of ties back into Get Out, about genre and how related horror and comedy are in terms of how you approach them as an
Nice.
editor. And
Yeah.
he says, quote, "You're either laughing or you're jumping, and there's that tension and release thing that many jokes work with, as does horror, and they both mess with nervousness around taboos." And I'm like, yeah, it's, again, they're two
Yeah.
sides of the same genre coin.
Yep. Yeah. I
That's
love
something we
that.
talk about a lot.
Yeah, I love that him and Jordan probably had fun. Like I'm sure Jordan loved talking to him about that too. So
Oh,
especially
yeah.
transitioning from working together on that, and then that's so cool.
I'm curious also who edited Get Out, since I don't have that listed as one of the ones he did, but he did work on Nope, so not
I didn't have a lot
not
of
expecting you to have
editing.
that, but
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes I feel like we talk about I sprinkle in editors depending also if I can
you're
find
better at it than I am,
information.
which is ironic because I'm an editor. But that's part of it, though, is like they often, like, editors rarely do interviews. They're rarely shouted out.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very
Yeah.
behind the scenes role.
It is, but it's super, especially with I mean with us too. It's like to be able to edit those pieces together to also make it cohesive, and like there are these moments where like those
Exactly.
cuts, especially in like Jordan Peele like films,
His
like
cuts are so important.
they're so important. So
There's
Trav,
one
if you
that
can
I
look that
caught.
up for us.
Ooh, yeah, please. There's one that I caught this time around in Us that really stood out to me. It's at the very beginning when they've just arrived at like the summer house or whatever. And Lupita's just found, or Adelaide's just found Jason in Gregory Plotkin edited Get Out. That name sounds familiar. Interesting. Shout out Gregory Plotkin. But so this shot, Adelaide's just found Jason hiding in the closet, and like just pulls him out of there. And there's this like moment where she and Jason both turn like they've heard a sound, and it cuts immediately to outside on the docks as the whole family descends down the stairs, and the timing of the one shot to the next, it looks so much like she's looking up because she's seeing herself come down the stairs, and it's like foreshadowing exactly what's going to happen in the plot. So satisfying.
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, Travis says that Gregory Plotkin also edited Paranormal Activity 2, Happy Death Day, Quiet Place Day 1, and Conjuring Last Rites. So he's a horror editor.
Yeah,
Very
I've
cool.
some crossover then with the Happy
Love
Death Day
that.
too with
Yeah, interesting.
Very cool.
And then now we get to our soundtrack section, which is like the longest soundtrack section that I've had. I think the only one that compares is Sweeney Todd, which like that makes sense.
You haven't had
a
a lot of Oh yay.
This one there was so much. I am delighted.
The music's so fucking good in this.
It's
Michael
so
Abels.
good.
Michael Abels,
and it's and it's such a big. Oh my god! It's also like near constant. Like this is another one that's almost through composed. Like there's music underneath so much of it. Even like atonal stuff where it's just like vague sounds of people like moaning in the background. Like that's stuff that Michael Abels did. That wasn't added in the sound design, which I love
that's
to know
so cool.
that. So Michael, he also obviously did Get Out. He goes on to work with him on Nope. So they've stayed together, which I think is very cute. As I mentioned, Get Out was his first movie score, which is insane.
That's wild.
But he goes on to do Bad Education, Allen versus Pharaoh, The Burial, American Society of Magical Negroes, The Acolyte, Siren, and The Burbs. He also co-composed the opera Omar with Rhiannon Giddens, who I love, and won a
Ooh.
Pulitzer Prize for it. So he is a
Oh
Pulitzer
shit.
Prize-winning
Jesus
composer,
Christ.
this man.
Wow. Wow.
And
Oh
he
gosh.
co-founded the Composers Diversity Collective to increase visibility for composers of color.
Ah,
Partially because after he worked on Get Out, he said that he started having all of these young composers of color writing to him for advice, and he was like, man, there are so many people who like want to branch out and want to hire more people of color and just don't know where
yeah.
to find us. So like we want to be the
I love
Rolodex for
that.
that,
Ah,
which like,
ah,
so good.
that's really cool.
And so getting into like the meat of the music itself, there's a lot of taiko drums on the soundtrack. There's also an instrument called a cymbalom, which is really interesting. It's like an Eastern European instrument that's like played with hammers.
Oh,
there's like an instrument
cool.
in this that like sounds like a looks like a piano but is played with mallets. That's
Cool.
usually what you're hearing when Umbre, the tethered version of the teenage daughter, is
Yeah.
on screen. And Peele specifically gave him the prompt starting out because they started collaborating on this when it was at the script stage. He started already writing demos for it,
Of
which I
course.
love when that's the
That's
case. It's so
so fun.
satisfying. And so Peele, as a prompt, told him to experiment with playing instruments that don't normally go together as like duets to play into these themes of duality in the story. Again, if you want to
Cool.
know what the reason he did something is, it's duality.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and he also uses a 30-person choir, which is 20 adults, 10 children. And those children, unlike in yours, they are not singing in a real language here. And there's a very specific
Ooh.
reason for that. He says, quote, you know that song that comes in, it's like the title, the opening credits song,
Mhm.
where you're hearing them kind of like chant and it sounds like they're very angry.
Yeah.
And he says, quote, it's nonsense syllables so that you focus more on their feeling and the music. You can tell
Mhm.
something's coming and it's not good. These people mean business, but you can't tell exactly what it is they want. It was important that they sounded like not any specific culture. They sounded like they were organized and evil, but not foreign. And
Mm.
I'm like,
Well,
this
it's
is why you
perfect
hire
for
composers of color so that you're not accidentally like demonizing a group of people in your soundtrack.
right.
Um,
Yeah. And it's so
love.
smart to have that kind of made up
Hmm.
just for what the tethered are too. That's so smart.
Exactly. Exactly. And he also, I loved finding this out. Michael and Jordan worked together in actually like a really similar way to how Haley and I worked for Radon's Daughters, which is actually a really unusual way to approach composition. Where what he'd do was he would write pieces and then hand them over to Jordan without usually telling him what scenes they were inspired by so that Jordan could find his own
Oh,
placements. And that's what
cool.
Haley and I did. Like
Yeah.
I gave her like a list of prompts and there were like maybe 3 scenes where I was like, I need a specific piece that's about
Hmm.
this long that feels kind of like this. But for
Yeah.
like 70% of the music, she wrote things that were inspired by like ideas or concepts in the plot and did not give ideas about where they should be placed. And then I got to just like
Yeah.
play around with it.
Puzzle.
And it was so
Oh, that's
much
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Um, and I brought in a quote about this where he says, quote, when the editor did a rough cut of the scenes as Jordan was shooting, I'd see where they dropped in some of that music as a temporary score. And that was how I would learn which theme or music Peele was envisioning for different parts of the film. So like he didn't even know
Cool.
until the rough cut started being assembled, which is so
That's really fun.
satisfying. This also obviously, much like Get Out, does include some really amazing needle drops from existing songs and artists. So there's Minnie Riperton's LaFleur at the end over the closing
I love that
credits, which
song.
is also very clearly like a Shining shout out with that like swooping over the landscape.
Hmm.
There's NWA's Fuck the Police, which is so
That
funny when
seems
that
so
comes
funny.
in.
Call the police.
Ophelia.
Hey, fuck the police.
So good. When I also love that Ophelia doesn't bleep herself out because like Siri always bleeps. Like
Oh
for me,
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Ophelia has a potty mouth and I'm all about it.
yeah.
Um, and there's also Janelle Monáe's I Like That at the beginning, and of course I got 5 on it. And
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about the use of I got 5 on it because it's actually a really good segue into talking about the release of the film, because the creepy remix of I Got Five on It that we hear in this movie, there's like, the movie uses regular I Got Five on It and then what's called the tethered remix. And the
Yeah.
tethered remix was not originally supposed to be in the movie, which is incredible.
shit.
It's what you hear actually over the like final fight scene between Red and Adelaide. It's like playing like almost like an orchestral version of, it's actually a sample that I Got Five on It uses, but
Cool.
that's then getting played on strings, kind of like incorporated with little pieces of other themes from the music.
Yeah.
That was actually made just for the trailer. And the trailer debuted on Christmas Day of
Oh, damn, I
2018
don't remember that. Oh,
and
cool.
gets such an enormous, and it was like really interesting timing too, because normally like a horror trailer doesn't drop on Christmas Day. Part of the thinking in that was because everybody's trapped at home with their families on Christmas Day.
Again,
Perfect
simple,
time to drop
smart.
us. Yeah. But the song and that particular remix of it that they use for it, which is like this slowed down, creepy, echoey version, gets such an enormous wave of fan reactions and of people asking where they could get the remix that when the trailer drops, Peele decides to actually go back and include it in the climax.
And
it's so
I mean, it's
perfect.
like when I think of this movie, that's what I think of.
And it was
That's
originally
so insane.
the first idea was that it was going to be like Michael was going to kind of do a freak it version of one of the, I think it's the pas de deux from the Nutcracker, actually. It was going to be a piece of the Nutcracker because that's what she's dancing to.
Yeah.
And he was like really excited to do that, but then
That
they
would've been
try
cool.
this and he's like, oh yeah, it's got to be this.
It's it's insane how good it
It's
is.
so
And
good.
it's just I don't even have words to express. That's so crazy that wasn't gonna, I don't even know what I would
know.
do.
It works. It like works on a symbolic level in so many more ways than I think just using a piece of the actual like music that she's canonically dancing to would have. Like
Yeah.
it is saying so much about like her connection to the outside world, about race, about culture, about class. Like there's so much that is going on there in taking this this like classic hip hop track and making an orchestral, almost balletic version of it that she's
And
dancing to.
I mean, if it wasn't like a sample or like a remix or whatever you want to call it, it's such a like a horror like genius
Yeah.
orchestral piece of music. You know what I mean? I'm not using the correct words. But you know what I mean? Like it would become so iconic in just that, and it does. I feel like
Absolutely.
you almost forget that it is a remix because of
Yeah.
the way it's done, and it's
It
these
feels
peaks
so
and these spikes, and it's just so emotive, and
and it's wild that scene that took so much choreography, that was the hardest to shoot, they had to choreograph so specifically with the actor and the camera and
yeah, I
reshoot
can't
all these
imagine.
different times while presumably listening on set to the music from the Nutcracker.
I didn't even think about that too.
To think that then you're able to drop this in and it fits to a T.
Yeah, meant to be. Just meant to be.
So good.
That's
Yeah,
so cool.
that's how you know,
I
right?
had no idea. That's amazing.
Mwah. Jordan Peele, the genius
I
that you
know,
are.
truly.
So as you could kind of tell from that story, the promotion campaign for this film went hard. And just like to shout out a couple of the fun things that they did to roll it out. They sent influencer boxes out that had red scissors in them, which is incredible.
That. Oh my god. Awesome.
Incredible. They had a photo generator where you could make a tethered version of yourself. Lupita Nyong'o, because she is bilingual, recorded a whole bunch of Spanish language radio ads for Spotify and did bilingual interviews, which I love that. We so
That's cool.
rarely get that.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah, but I forgot she's born in Mexico City. And so like she I think moved grew up mostly in Kenya, if I'm remembering correctly. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that, Travis. But then she went back to Mexico City to make sure that she
Cool.
was bilingual in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I love that she did that on the promotional campaign. This one was a South by Southwest premiere, showed at the festival on March 8th, and then gets its theatrical release through Universal on March 22nd. So just right a couple days from us as we're recording this. So it was a super quick turnaround from that first festival tease to its real premiere. But it did also have, I found this really sweet, they did a private pre-release screening at Howard University, which is the HBCU that Gabe has gone to in the movie that he's wearing the hoodie from.
Yeah.
So they took it with Jordan Peele and Lupita Nyong'o to the campus of Howard and showed the students there the movie before anybody else got to see it,
That's
which I'm
cute.
like, oh, that's so
'cause he
good.
wears that. I love that.
Yeah,
crew
the
neck that
Howard
he wears the whole time.
University
Yeah.
sweatshirt gets like a whole lot of play in this film. Yeah,
That's cute.
it's so sweet, and they clearly spent an enormous amount of money on the ad campaign. But it paid off handsomely. Okay, Travis confirmed. Yes, Lupita grew up primarily in Kenya. Thank you. But it more than pays off. This makes so much money. Remind me again how much Get Out made?
255 million.
Oh my god. 256. 1 million more.
I remember
1
this. 'Cause
million
when we talked
more.
about Nope, I brought in
That's right. They
these
were
two.
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
I can't remember
gosh.
what Nope is now, of course, but
I know. I think Nope made
Man.
more, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think it did too.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
actually, I don't think
did
it
it? Oops. I guess it was in that released in 2021, right? That was
That's
still
why I don't
just
think it did.
yeah,
That's
barely
why I
out of the
don't think
pandemic.
I
Yeah.
think I remember
Cut
looking
that.
at these.
I'm
Yeah.
wrong. That
Yeah, I was
can't
like,
be
wait a
right.
second.
But it was
Wow.
175 domestic, just shy of 81 million internationally.
Oh.
And it made more than 70 million in its opening weekend alone, which made
Wow.
it the best box office opening weekend for an original film since Avatar.
Whoa.
Crazy. And it
Jesus
made it the
Christ.
best original horror opening and third best horror opening of all time, after
Holy
just
shit.
it and the 2018 Halloween. So this
my
film did
God.
mad bank that first week.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Because again, coming off of Get Out, like everyone, just the
Yeah.
anticipation. I remember, like everyone was
Mhm.
just like, "When's the next one?" It's
Yeah.
and it was so
And
close. That's why
it
in
was so close.
time.
And this was a really good time for movies in theaters. Like we were I think really watching a lot in theaters.
Yeah.
We had the money to be going into theaters. The pandemic hadn't happened yet. Like we were really getting a lot of really great large scale movies like this that really need to live on the big screen. Like
This was
it hit at just the right
2019,
moment.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Spring of
I mean,
2019.
there was a lot of Marvel movies going on at the time too. I was in the theater a lot. I feel like in
Exactly.
2019.
Same. I was
Yeah,
going to the
so
movies so much. Yeah. Which
that's
also
fine.
tells you how well this did, that with
Yeah.
all of that competition,
Yeah,
it
that's a great
still
point.
was the best since
Wow.
Avatar.
That's
Crazy.
actually a great thing to point out is that we're all going. There was competition, and then still,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah. There is talking about DVD releases and home media, there is a 4K Blu-ray, but I do just want to shout out to y'all so that you know that the 4K Blu-ray seems to have been upscaled from the 2K, which means that it probably utilized some amount of AI. It's probably not Gen AI, but I'm just putting that out there because the upscaling process is machine learning. And just
I
so you
didn't know that. Huh.
if you're going from footage that's 1080p or 2K,
Yeah.
and making it 4K, it's not the most intensive process that an AI can do. It's not wasting as much water as a lot of things that AI does, but that is primarily an AI process. So just so you know,
Yeah.
all I mean by that is if you're looking to get a Blu-ray, honestly, the 2K is probably just as good.
Yeah.
Just for what that's worth.
I don't ever fucking notice the difference. Most of us have shit
yeah.
TVs anyways. Let's be
It's
so for real. We all have the same quality TV, and we're not
such
gonna
a
notice
small
the
visual difference. Until you're
Yeah.
on a projector scale, in a theater, it's really not going to be that noticeable.
And save your money.
Exactly. So, yeah, just get the 2K. You'll be fine. It's the same thing that the 4K is based on. So, which I also think is just kind of like a little bit of a ripoff, because like a 4K version of this film was shot. Why is that not what you used to make the 4K Blu-ray from?
Yeah,
but
that's weird.
yeah, it's just frustrates me. Anyway, that's a rant for another time. Quick detour through reception. This makes me so angry, Al. This film holds a 93% from critics, but a 61 from audiences.
That's idiots.
Y'all are idiots. So you don't
dummies.
You're not appreciating him properly.
I hope there's someone that's really offended by me saying that to them right now. It's like, I didn't get it. Dummy.
Yes.
Dummy. Get out of here.
If you've
we don't
been
want you on
this
this
whole,
podcast journey with
this
us.
whole walkthrough with us and you're still not convinced.
Yeah, if you're here at this point, if you skipped here and I'm calling you a dummy and you have no context, sure, whatever. I'll take it back. But
but otherwise, you're a dummy. Like, it's... Yeah.
I'm not surprised, because there is just... I just think
people hate this, and it makes me so sad.
I think the people... I think the norm... Again, Get Out felt like such a mass appeal. Right? It appealed to a lot of
had a
people.
Crossover appeal, and that's a dangerous thing.
And I think from that, people then expected copy paste to the next one, which they also would have complained about.
Absolutely, they would have. They wouldn't have been happy with anything.
And so I just think there was a lot of pressure. I can't even imagine the pressure that he felt going into a next one too. It's like now with Nope, I feel like we're all like, girl, do you take your time, give us what you want when you want. I'm like, if he doesn't give us a film for another 10 years,
buckled in.
I'm okay.
I'm fine with it, because it's gonna be brilliant.
Yeah. Damn, that's really quite the gap. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, very sad. And one of the bigger gaps that we've seen on the pod. I don't know if it's the biggest, but it's definitely
wild
top
to see
3
for a Jordan Peele film.
I know.
For me.
And I also just like, even if you don't, like, even if you're all caught up in, like, the mechanics of how this underground world works, which, again, like, you're thinking about the wrong things. It's a metaphor. Let it exist as a metaphor. But even if you're watching it that way, how are you not at least blown away by Lupita Nyong'o's performance? Like, that just doesn't compute to me.
Right? Her voice, her RFK voice alone.
I know, for RFK alone.
Ew.
Hated saying that sentence.
Take that back.
Retract. Cut it. Let's get the scissors in here.
Yeah, cut that one out. Cut that one out. Scissors. But like, I think that's the thing too. Like, if you don't, you are wrong if you don't like this movie.
I agree.
That's my
strong
opinion.
Agree. And who who else agrees is Richard Brody from The New Yorker, who gave it a particularly glowing review that I wanted to bring in, because again, the critics adored this. The critics were with it from the beginning. It was just the general public that didn't get on board, which is so upsetting. But like, at least he got the critics. And so Richard Brody wrote, quote, "Us is a horror film. Although saying so is like offering a reminder that The Godfather is a gangster film, or that 2001: A Space Odyssey is science fiction. Genre is irrelevant to the merits of a film, whether its conventions are followed or defied. What matters is that Peele cites the tropes and precedents of horror in order to deeply root his film in the terrain of pop culture, and then to pull up those roots." And I'm like, oh, such a good description.
Really
also,
cool.
like, yes, this is Godfather or Space Odyssey level shit. Right? And appreciate it as such.
Right? That's how I feel about his films as a whole. I'm like, you can't even really put them on like a plane or something, because they are just, they live. And
everything he does is genre bending. Like, even this, like, there is a lot in Us that is incredibly funny. Like,
again, the dad is truly my favorite character, and like, there's so much humor. Like,
I love
up.
his boats are done. Boats are done moment.
Just honestly, every moment that man is on screen, I am like,
he's
dying.
Such a great, very much like cut from the same cloth as Ken from the Barbie movie.
Yeah,
that man. Yeah. Like,
shoes that he's
wearing he needs a Mojo Dojo Casa house.
He would love one.
He would. He really would. like there's so much stuff in it that is just so, like, again, the NWA drop that is laugh out loud
Just,
funny.
the twins getting killed, that second twin like coming out too and just like flying across, like there are so many, there's so many funny movie or moments in this that
Yeah, even moments that are like they are horrifying, but like the
Mhm.
way it is played, you cannot help but laugh at the same
Mhm.
time that it's horrifying, and that's something he's really good at.
Yeah.
Which I also think is something that I feel like he's very much like the 80s horror director I think he has the most in common with is Wes Craven. I think they've got like a very similar
Sure.
kind of like sense of humor to their work,
Yeah.
and also
Yeah.
like this like very deep moral center. Like that
Mhm.
combination I think very much puts them
Mhm.
in the same camp. Anyway, Hollywood Reporter ranked it a number 12 out of the top 25 horror movies of the 21st century last year. They put out a
Cool.
list, which I was excited to see that appreciation, although sad that it wasn't
Yeah.
even higher. And it goes on to win and get nominated for a ton of awards, including Saturn Awards, Bram Stoker's, NAACP Image Awards, and MTV Movie Awards.
Mhm.
But you notice what's not on that list?
Things that I talked
This
about
didn't
in mine.
get a
A single thing.
single Oscar
That's
nomination.
wild. That's wild.
After all of those that he got for Get Out, I think it also really just shows you that even at this time, the Oscar wasn't ready for horror films, because Get
No.
Out, again, is not a straight horror film in the same way that this is. Like,
Yep.
it is a horror movie, but it
Mhm.
is not a classic horror movie.
Yep.
And this is a classic horror movie. And even with as incredible as this film is, the Academy wasn't
Yeah.
ready for it. And what really gets me is Lupita not getting a nom for Best Actress.
Yeah. But
She's
again,
already Oscar winning, but they would rather see her play a slave than do
I
this.
know her. I mean, if that doesn't say everything about Hollywood right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, her just yeah, just her alone at the very
Like
least.
I really think this is like, I feel like this and Isabella Johnny in Possession are on exactly the same level as like the
Oh
two
my God, I gotta
best
rewatch
female horror
Possession.
performances of all time. Like that's
Yeah.
talk about throwing your absolute everything into a part, and also
Right.
a movie about doppelgangers too. Lots
Right.
of
Oh
lots of
yeah.
parallels there.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
anyway,
I mean,
I'll get off my high horse, but like this
no, you can stay up
absolutely
there.
should have,
Stay up there.
even if it wasn't going to win, and like I think we all
Right.
know a lot of the
Right.
time horror's never going to win, but it should
Right.
have been nominated, especially seeing Get Out get nominated.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, because it was palatable.
yeah. And I
It was more
honestly
palatable. It was palatable to
my
white people, and it was palatable to Hollywood, and it was popular, and it's a popularity
exactly.
contest, and that's what pisses me off about the fucking
Mhm.
Oscars
And
99.9% of the
I
time.
also honestly think, as I like watching these two back to back, something that really hit me was like I feel like um Get Out is a movie that I think like, you know how a lot of Disney movies are like made for kids but have like a lot of jokes for adults put into them?
Mhm, mhm.
I feel like Get Out is a movie that is like made for white audiences that has a lot of jokes for people of color put into it,
Mhm,
but like
mhm.
the main person that it's talking to is like a white liberal.
Yeah.
Whereas, which like again is not to say that like there aren't additional levels of enjoyment that you'll get watching it from other perspectives,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I think that Us is a movie that is made for an audience of color. Like that
Mm.
other folks can enjoy and can find access points to. But I feel like Jordan Peele, it feels to me watching this movie like Jordan Peele's ideal audience member, like he is like making this for black audiences to watch. And
Oh,
like
interesting.
if you enjoy it and you're not, that's great. But like this is one for us is like
Yeah.
how it feels.
And that's
Um
I know too, like he mentioned like it was placing like this family that it wasn't inherent like
mhm,
the conversation wasn't
mhm.
inherently about race, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
about race, but it was a black
Which
family, and
and I
they're like it was a horror movie with a
mhm,
black cast, and that's just
yeah,
something
we
that
don't see.
mm-mm,
And I think that's a big part of why it does feel to me like that is like this is made for a different audience than Get Out
mm-hmm,
is because like it is very different to make a movie that is like helping a white audience understand a little bit about concepts of race versus
mm-hmm,
making a movie in which race does not need to be addressed because it is understood.
yeah,
Um
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like I genuinely think that that's a big part of why so many people are so mad at this, is because I think white audiences got used to him catering to them and
Yeah.
got a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit uncomfy when they saw
Yeah.
him kind of being like, if you like it, that's great. Like,
Not really concerned about you.
yeah, it's not really a big deal either way. And
I'm in
like,
shock.
you know,
White
I don't
people
have
had a reaction to that.
I know. And you know, I don't have like a specific interview to quote from that. That is my
Yeah.
interpretation. That is
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
coming
yeah,
directly from
yeah,
Jordan Peele, but I also think
yeah.
there's a lot to support that in the movie.
Sure.
Um Also, I just want to end with a couple of little watch notes that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I feel like at the beginning, you know, there's like a great shot that passes the carousel at Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that like the carousel looks a lot like a Zoe trope. And I feel like that imagery really presages Nope. Like there's a lot there
Oh.
that kind of leads to thinking about the amusement park, the theme park in Nope.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of connection there.
Sure.
The Vision Quest haunted house with like the nickel Indian on the front of it feels like a really interesting. I watching it this time, I was like, I bet that's a Stephen King nod, because Stephen King
Ooh.
has so much that's like based in this idea of like the Indian burial ground and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
Jordan Peele is kind of mocking that here,
Sure. I
particularly
mean,
because we
yeah.
see from like the 80s to like 2019, the only thing that changes is the name changes from Vision Quest to Merlin's Quest, but they still keep a
Right.
totem pole outside,
Right,
which
right.
is just like
Right.
they literally
Such a
didn't
fun,
redo a single
fun,
thing.
yeah, because that's accurate.
So funny. I also just had to note the ominous use of Birkenstocks is incredible. Like all the shots where you
Wait,
get like
the ominous use of Birkenstocks is a great sentence to say. I've never heard that before, so that's great. Is there an
listen.
ominous use of Birkenstocks in
There
this movie?
is. Every time I'm forgetting his name. Tex, the tethered version of the white husband, who I can't remember his
Mm.
like other name either. But
Listen.
whenever you see Tex like enter a shot, it usually starts with his feet in Birkenstocks in close up, walking into the frame as he's like making these
That's
like, "Ugh."
funny.
And I
Yeah. Oh yeah.
noticed. And I was like watching that and I was like, this is such like a funny commentary on white people. And then I noticed at the end, as we're getting the flashbacks to young
Mhm.
Adelaide wears Birks.
She does wear
And
Birks.
so when she gets taken by the tethered and like put underground,
LaFleur.
and she's planning all of this and she's designing everything based on what was going on in her life before she got taken underground, she has
Oh,
everybody wear Birkenstocks because that's what she
that's
wore.
an amazing detail. Because obviously
I
with the glove and the
know.
red, like there's like I never even thought
Mhm.
about the Birkenstocks. That's
I
so funny.
know. It's so,
Bless
like the
her.
detail. It just breaks
My
your heart.
baby. My
Like it's a
baby.
hilarious commentary on white people, but it also tells you so much like tragic stuff about Adelaide.
Mhm.
Um
I
Also
just
just had so good. Also just had to shout out when Jason and oh my gosh, what's her name? The daughter, teenage daughter, Umbre, but in not Umbre form. Zora. Um
Zora.
when Jason and Zora are like going into the house and like pick up stuff to attack with, and
Yeah.
Jason gets the geode and Zora gets the golf club. I started cackling this time because I was like, oh my god, yes, crystals are to white women what golf is to white men. Like
Stop it.
it's literally,
I
yeah,
mean, truly.
it's right there. Like,
That's so funny.
of course he picks up like a giant amethyst. Like, yes, that's exactly the equivalent.
That's so funny. That's so good. That's
So
such a fun
good.
detail.
This is just like a one sentence film theory tiny desk. I feel like there's also a lot in this film, and I don't know if this is something that Jordan Peele was like intentionally playing with, or if it's just another like thing where because Jordan Peele has planned out so much, like all these great
Falls into place.
coincidences
Yeah.
come into
Yeah.
place. But I do feel like there is a lot of like Plato's allegory of the cave going on in this movie. Where are you
Ooh.
familiar with this?
I feel like you've brought this up on the podcast before.
I probably have, because it's like a lot of people like talk about it in relation to film theory as like a metaphor for movies, but it's this idea of like um this line of people who grow up in a cave and are watching, there's like a fire in front of them and behind them are people who are carrying like a cutout of a chair on sticks, or a cutout of a person, or a cutout of a horse on sticks, and the shadows from that are getting projected onto the cave wall, and these people spend their entire life just watching these shadows, and then they come out into the light and see an actual chair and an actual horse and an actual person, and are like blinded by the experience, basically. And this
Yeah.
idea of like the
I
image of
love
the thing
that.
is not the real thing. And
Yeah.
I feel like this movie is playing with that a whole lot, not just with the doubles, the duality, the idea of them being raised underground, even there's a lot of the cave in there,
Right.
but also just when these characters first come into the house, and first, like, when the tethered and the others first meet each other, what do? They light a fire. And
Oh, I was
Jason starts talking about how Pluto was born to love fire.
yeah.
And so there's this flickering light that's letting red cast shadows, and it's like there's
Mhm.
like a literal like Plato's cave going on there.
Yeah, I
Um,
was thinking even too when we're first introduced to them, they are shadows in the driveway with
exactly.
the light behind them. Oh my
Exactly.
god. I'm
Yeah. And
sure.
even thinking about like the cutout of a chair, what do we see her
Mhm.
doing? We're seeing her cut out silhouettes.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, it's
I'm
on so
sure
many
he had
different
to.
levels.
Or
Yeah.
again, he's so genius that he
It
that
just
seeped
worked.
into his
Yeah.
psyche and it just
I wouldn't put it
got
past
spit out
him.
that way. Yeah. So, oh, I love that. Absolutely. I mean, it's got to be in some way.
Right.
If he
Right.
didn't intend it, that's the outcome
I
of the
agree.
art that he made.
I
That's really
strongly
cool, and
agree.
absolutely see
Um,
that. So that's so fun. I love that.
that's my tiny little film theory tidbit
Yeah,
for you.
yeah, that's a
And
good
that's
one.
that. Oh my gosh, I do this every time. I
I
keep
love
hitting
the
my light.
fluttering, but it always sounds like a fluttering of papers. And for those who like only listen and never watch the YouTube,
I hope it
I
keeps
hope it
feeling like
sounds
that.
yeah. I hope it sounds like Siena's just in this like room full of paper and notes and like things hung around because that's how I feel is an accurate
I mean,
representation
you say
of
that,
you.
and
And I know
yet,
that's to be true.
oh yeah, no, I'm sitting underneath my story map for RD, which is a
Oh my
cluster
gosh.
of papers stuck to
Yep,
the
same.
wall.
Yeah.
So,
You're like
yep.
a little owl in a little cave full
I'm
of
like the owl from
notes.
the Vision Quest that they walk through, the one that they like hit because they're scared of it. It's me. That's me in
That's
this
so
movie.
funny.
Yeah,
That's
that's
so
what I got on
fun.
Us. I feel like we still just barely scratched the surface, but like
I mean,
there's so
again,
much with this movie.
yeah.
That, like,
This might be our beefiest episode
I'm not
yet.
surprised.
And
It's
yeah,
two
we could have
Jordan
talked
Peels. What were
more.
we expecting?
Yeah, like in theory, we should have probably separated these, but I think we did a good job because there's
We
so much
needed
conversation
to.
around these that like
Yeah.
I think we did a good job picking
are
like the meat off
I
the
think so
bone.
too. And I think they are so linked that it would have been really hard to talk about them separately. We would have kept going like, and back to that previous episode. Like,
Yeah, we would
so I'm
have.
glad
It
we
would have
didn't do
been
that.
yeah, I'm so glad
Hmm
we got to talk about him.
Me
And both of these
too.
and round out everything. So
So satisfying.
yay,
And
yeah.
like also, as much as I loved both of the films that we covered last time, after watching a whole bunch of like white directors' takes on black actors, it was really nice to watch some Jordan Peele. Like,
Yeah, and I had nothing
felt
to
real
say about
good.
Skeleton. He was slim pickings at that point, so I was happy to have stuff to. And again, I was like
So
very
much
overwhelmed.
meat.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
hope I did it. I just love it, and I didn't want to do anything. But everyone, just a reminder: go watch Black Mirror 50 million merits, and watch also the Viper one because it's really really good.
Yes.
Those are great episodes, and I will highly
Love.
recommend watching
Love.
those. I would bully everyone. One day we'll have to do Black Mirror episodes or like some
We
TV, some
should.
horror TV.
Yeah, like as a bonus or something. I really think we should do some bonus TV episodes.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So on
Yeah,
the
next
subject of
episode.
episodes that are going to connect to previous episodes, actually, in some ways, we had we had to ask for help in choosing this because we have two films that we each equally love and couldn't decide between the two who should cover which.
I haven't seen the one, to be fair.
Oh,
but
that's
I
right. You
know
haven't
I'm
seen.
gonna love it because I trust if you love it, I'm gonna love it. So
Well, you know I'm picky about this. So
yeah,
the film that we're hinting about is the Luca Guadagnino remake of Suspiria from 2018. And as you all know, I I'm a bitch who loves the original Suspiria, and
Yeah.
I went into this movie so ready to tear it to shreds, and it is just it's doing something so completely different. Like, it almost feels more like an adaptation of the same concept than it is a remake of the original
Mm,
film. Like, it's so drastically distinct.
yeah.
But spinning off of kind of the dance sequence in this one,
Mhm.
we're doing a ballet horror pairing. And so, Al, what you got for us?
Covering, we've talked about it a bunch. We are also covering, or is this one mine, right? Covering Black Swan finally, which I feel like
Yes,
we've
about
mentioned
time.
so many
So many
times.
times.
I rewatched it like a couple months ago. And
Mm.
man, it's just so
It's so
good.
good.
It's so
I
good still.
I don't think I've revisited it since first watching it in high school, and I feel like I
Wow.
still
Yeah.
remember it clear as day. Like, that
Yeah.
film made
Yeah.
such a visceral impression on me.
Yeah.
Really.
It sticks for sure.
I remember
Yeah.
especially the scene where the feathers are coming through her skin
Ugh,
was like
yeah.
such an early like awakening to like body horror. What's
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
really like
so
went off. Some light
freaky.
bulbs went off for me there.
Yeah, it's
Um,
I don't know actually like anything about making of that one. So I'm also so
ooh, I
excited to
don't
finally watch the
either.
remake of or remake the well, yeah,
It
remake
is,
of
yeah,
Suspiria.
remake. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's they're also both incredibly gay, which I feel like I always love
yeah,
when you
yeah,
get to do a really gay pairing.
yeah,
So
it feels nice. We've had like some pretty
some pretty straight stuff
hetero
recently.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we gotta take the
Yeah.
pendulum back this way.
Yeah.
The gay
Yeah.
way.
Gotta
So
fruit
yeah,
it up a
I'm
little bit.
yeah.
Like those Fruit Loops and Get Out.
So yeah, I'm excited. These are a fun one to
It's gonna
do.
be a
So
really
yeah,
good
that's what we're
pairing.
doing. What else? Again, if you guys keep sharing our episodes with people, we constantly see new people, like even on our YouTube comments saying
Yeah.
they found us. So thank you for
Every
finding
time
us.
somebody
And
new like is like, I can't believe I hadn't heard of this before. It's like such a
yeah,
delight that like
yeah,
we're
yeah.
reaching you.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
keeping some of you sane, so yeah, we appreciate you. All the comments are great, sharing's great. If you have the
Yeah.
means, for like $3 a month, it helps keep
Mhm.
us paying for the things that we need to just to get the podcast done to
Mhm.
you. Not
Mhm.
even our time, but just to keep
Yeah.
things running. So if you have the
Just
means for
literally like the
$3 a month,
platform and stuff like
yeah,
that.
just the
Yeah.
platforms.
That's
So that's like super helpful, and we
Mhm.
appreciate you if you
And
have that.
yes, we will also
And
definitely shout you
what
out
else?
on air if you're able to do that.
Yeah.
We oh yeah, if y'all are interested in merch, send us a message. We
Oh yeah.
don't have the shop set up yet, but we do have the merch in stock and priced and all that, and are happy to do like one off, just like ship it directly to you as a human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easiest.
Yeah, it's
That we
honestly
got it. We got
yeah.
like our
We're
I still have
lo-fi right
my
now.
yeah. I was gonna say we have like bumper stickers that are really cool. We have gay for horror.
I'm
The
actually
driver of this
I'm
car is a
wearing
spooky
our
bitch. Are you wearing our
merch
shirt?
right now. Yeah.
I almost wore my flannel today too.
Oh my god.
That's really
Well, I was like
weird. That's
I was like I have to
funny.
wear something red for red, so
Yeah. Oh my god, that would have been funny because mine would have come across as blue, which oh, I didn't even mention in Get Out
Oh.
too. There's a play with like color with red and blue as well.
Ooh,
Rose wears a
love.
lot of red in it, and
Mhm.
the people at the party wear a lot of red. So there's like a lot of
Mhm.
symbolism there. So
Yeah,
we
and
would have
Daniel
looked.
Kaluuya wears a lot of blue too, right?
Yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
he does.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah,
And the
so
sunken
yeah.
place is blue. Yeah.
Mhm. But yeah, we have merch, so just DM us. Again, we're in New Mexico and Michigan, so
Mhm.
also if you're
Mhm.
around our areas, we can always drop it off. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's
that's sketchy
not
or not,
hard.
but or the post is just cheaper. I don't know what I'm saying.
That's also
Again,
true. Listen, we're doing this
I
ourselves.
I have a
Al's had
stomach
ice cream
ache.
and beer.
I totally
Yeah,
came
how's that
back.
stomach doing?
Oh, we came back, and I started to have if you're watching us, you can see that I've been drinking a lot of water the second half.
Oh no.
It's because
I'm
I
so
absolutely
sorry.
did have a tummy ache. So don't do what I did. to keep yourself awake at 11 o'clock at night. But it was well worth it because we're talking about Jordan Peele, and he is one of my favorite people to talk about alongside Daniel Kaluuya. So
yeah, this
happy
this
to
episode could have been so long. I mean, it already is so long. It could have been so much longer.
Yeah. So if those of you who made it, thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we adore you. You're the real MVPs.
Truly. What else? Yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah, just keep sharing. It's really lovely, and we'll thanks Trav for actually he did a lot of work on giving us information today, so
we really put you through the paces. I even asked you a question on air this time. Yeah. Thanks, Momager. We love you.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks to Dana, who overheard me from downstairs talking about how I was going to get some Elvira gin and had snuck into the house. I didn't realize that she'd gotten home. She was being so quiet to avoid disrupting the recording, and so I climbed down the stairs because I record in the attic, and a hand just reaches around the corner with a gin bottle, and I screamed and dropped everything because I was in us mode, and I was like, it's my tethered.
It's happening. I can seduce her now.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not ready to seduce.
That's so funny. That would have
Dana's yelling, I'm sorry from downstairs.
I can hear her. Nope, it adds to it. Don't be sorry. I'm sorry. Gin in hand, never apologize.
Exactly. Yeah. Nicest home invasion ever.
Truly. Yeah, if you're gonna break in, bring some gin,
Exactly. Good rule of thumb. Yeah. Thank you to Dana for helping me stay sane and set up lights and all of the wonderful things. Thank you to Theo Schaefer for our wonderful theme music, playing us out. Thank you to all of you for listening and keeping us going and being part of our horror community. Every single time one of you leaves us a message or a comment, it's a little bright spot in the day, and it's just it's so wonderful. It's really cool. Yeah. Thank you, Al, for being an amazing co-host and teaching me all this amazing stuff about Get Out. This was so much fun.
Same with us. Yeah, this was a good one. And until then, thanks for listening to Splice and Splatter,
the film podcast where classic horror
meets modern gore.
And until next time,
we'll be right back. Should have done it in my RFK voice. We'll be right back. Okay, bye.
Okay, that's definitely staying in.